Protect him with all your heart. Simparica Trio. Really, everyone else is online, and I can't get enough bandwidth to do this.
Try One Gig Internet with AT&T Fiber. You get more bandwidth and HBO Max included. So everyone's getting this in the game.
I can just watch the show instead of read the book.
Oh, well, I guess you can still read the book.
Get entertained with great 1 Gig Internet with AT&T Fiber. Now with HBO Max, just bundle with AT&T TV for $39.99 a month each for you. Limited availability is like this. Call 877 call. During a Red Cross Grand Reopening at Bob Mills, I'm going to help you with that cross pain that you felt while being cooped up at home. Stress, Texas, restless sleep. And Stanford University proved Intelibed's gel matrix center spring system the best solution for sleep disorders. Who is me suffering with scoliosis? Intelibed is the only mattress that help me. Why let Intelibed help you? Hey, quarterback Drew Brees apologized last year for your sensitive comment.
You believe you were retaliated against because you raised concerns about adopted.
Yes.
That a political figure shared information that the cause would have to take it back. Prince Heroes to save lives, the people can do.
Sunday night movies are back on CBS. Not just any Paramount Pictures. Sit down, escape from reality blockbusters.
Got me, John?
Somebody already there?
I had a whole room full.
There it is. You didn't start till 7:30, right?
Yes, that's why I'm on early.
Can't say that I blame you.
What did you blame me?
I got my speakers muted, that's why. Okay, now let's go. Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Hello. Took me a while to figure out why I couldn't hear and talk.
we didn't connect our video or our audio up right away. We were still.
Well, I had mine turned off. That's why.
That's useful.
I think I'm in there now, aren't I?
Well, there's Neil, but we don't see a picture.
Just a moment. Oh, let's see what I need to do.
Have you got mine, John? Got you?
Yeah, we do.
There we go.
There's Neil.
Yeah.
Now we can see him.
Yay. Webcam.
I got
Like
Neil
a-
in here twice.
Yeah,
I have me in here twice.
the picture
Yes,
comes through the phone, but I'm leaving the whatchamacallit, trying to get the group on the desktop, because I can see a little better. You're not so small. Okay, let's go to Google.
Imagine
Do, 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 do.
that. Oh my, you got a haircut.
Who, me?
No, Robert.
How you
Oh,
doing?
Robert, he used to get shaved, man.
Pardon?
I wonder, am I logged in as you, I wonder? Uh-oh,
Your speaker on.
no. I'll have to go in the other room. That's feedback.
And they're in the same room or close by or something.
Well, she didn't have any of her, all she's got is her video on. That's all she's got on. But apparently her speaker screws up everything as well.
Let's turn it up a little bit.
I wonder if I'm logged in as you, that's why you were there twice.
Could be. Maybe, yeah, because you just went away. You logged in as me.
Yes, I know. We have our weekly Google.
I got Neil logged in twice.
That you do.
I don't know. Well,
Really?
Susie logged in as me. That's why there was a feedback. Because she used my login. So she's going to the other room. That's why there was two of me on the screen.
Well, there was you and then the hippie Zen Waldo.
Yes. You see it? That'd be me.
All right. So how is
I
everybody
am
doing?
better known. I am better known in the photography world as Waldo.
How do you get that on there?
I saved it as my icon.
There's some setting we can do.
There we are.
Let's see. There we go. Somewhere in settings.
And I'd rather it be that way.
Not exactly sure why. Right now, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get Neil off of here.
Well, I'm using the one with just my name is, I'm displaying it on my desktop unit. I don't have a camera on the desktop, but I'm using the phone for the visual part and the audio.
Oh,
I've done that for several. Yeah, it's an older computer. I'm
okay.
the group. I'm old.
Well, I'll suffer with you. Let's see.
Oh. Well, Robert, you're having a red wine. I'm having a white.
All right. Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers. Yes.
Cherry
Cab?
bourbon.
Cherry bourbon.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, you're hitting the
I'm on
bottle.
drugs.
It's been one of those days.
Yes,
Hey,
I am.
4 hours in dental chair this morning. So,
Oh,
Oh,
What, John?
I only got one more chair sit to think. I think.
all right. So which one of you kiddos have been rioting out there?
And dental chairs.
Waiting room. Yes, you are in the waiting room. Sorry. It didn't ding. I wonder why.
You
It's
just
not
didn't
telling me when somebody's in the
join
waiting
us.
now there is somebody that's really relaxed.
in bed. That's why.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd be knocked out if I did that.
If I disable waiting room, everybody should just come right on in, right?
Yeah. Oh, nah.
No idea.
In theory, yes, but then you would also be defeating some of the security you were.
Maybe.
Hey, if I don't know you, all I have to do is go down here and click remove participant. That's how you do it.
All right. John,
Yes.
good to see you, brother.
What's happening, dude?
I'm gonna go down the line.
When we going for a beer?
Ah, the beer. Let's see. After the wine?
Do you really want to drink and drive now?
Nah, I'm teasing. I don't drink and drive, sir. I'm
There
too
used
old
to be
for
a-
that.
There used to be a phrase about mixing wine and beer.
There's Jack. I don't know who this is.
9687.
Oh,
29687.
Maybe that's their serial number,
I guess.
their convict ID.
Too bad you don't have a color background there, Jack.
Yeah, I know. I don't have much to select from, do I?
Reminds me of let's see, what was the movie? Up, where the guy had all the balloons tied to his house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Almost reminds me of the.
For some
Polish
reason, my computer will not allow me to do virtual backgrounds.
I've not tried virtual background. Don't y'all like my movie poster of the creature? Come on.
I can't see it.
Oh,
Not clearly.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Black Lagoon,
I can
yeah.
show you my Thomas Kincaid. There's one right there.
Hey,
There's one right there.
Oh, boy.
Let's see. There's another one over there.
You're into TK, huh?
That's right.
Man,
And
Oh,
there's
it's very
one over.
expensive cruise.
That's 5 of them in here.
From the very expensive cruise we went on, he went to the art auction.
Uh-oh.
Don't go to the art auction.
Amen.
Just say no.
Who twisted
But I
your
like Thomas Kincaid. Come on.
There you go.
Okay, well,
It actually cost more to frame them than it did to buy them.
that says a lot about you, John.
Not me.
I don't know who that was, but they went away because I did away with them.
All right.
Yay.
Oh, look at them.
Here's
Oh,
Peter.
you-
Oh,
Yes,
similar
keeper.
color. I like that.
There's Eric.
I've lost my videos, so I guess I have to go rejoin again.
Uh-oh. I don't know.
I guess.
You lost your video.
You have a video?
Can't see anything.
I mean, I can't see you guys anymore. So,
Oh.
wait a
We're
minute.
all thinking
Okay,
invisible
I found
fonts.
you. I found you. Okay, good. Oh, hello, everybody.
Jack.
Hello.
over here.
Howdy.
There's
Jack, come
Trish.
into the light, Jack.
Hey, Jack.
I'm not sure anybody's birthday.
Trish is giving us a tour of her house again.
That's you. That's normal.
Peter just
Look
picked
at-
for a moment there.
Ever walk around with the phone turned the other direction so we can see our house rather than what's behind her in our house?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I was just wandering from the front room to the office so that I'd have a little bit of peace and quiet. Otherwise, you're gonna hear the TV and everything else going on.
All right. Welcome, guys. How you doing?
Good, how are
Hey,
you?
Robert.
It's been one heck of a day, but I'm in.
Wonder how, I'm gonna do something weird. Let's see if that works.
See,
Neil's still here.
Guess I should have worked this all out beforehand.
Neil, you're still here. Can you see and hear and all that?
Okay, now I got it.
I hid your other screen,
Oh, okay.
Careful.
so I don't know whether you go away or not.
Yeah, John, when you say you're going to do something weird here, you notice none of us were really shocked.
All I gotta say is, Peter, careful. I saw a lot.
Hey, I just got somebody joined the meeting from 8269286 something or other. I don't know who that was, but
You let them in?
they're not here anymore because I deleted them.
Why would you delete them?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who they are.
You let everybody in. You think? I mean, we should be so lucky that somebody should streak naked across the back.
Oh my God.
Right?
Well, as soon as I see Kim do that, I will let you know when she's done it.
Whoever's taking a shirt off.
No, yeah, we probably have a lot of people that joined, that saw it on the thing, and just thought it was a good idea to join.
Well, I mean, I see their name, but they only joined with audio, no video. And it doesn't tell me who it is.
You can always mute them.
So I just turned them off.
Don't do that. Let everybody in.
But for some reason, my waiting room is not dinging at me. I have to keep that screen open.
Yeah. John Kane.
So what time is it anyway?
7:33.
7:33 on my computer.
I guess we should get this started. This is our usual crew. I don't see anybody new. LJ's not here. He's not feeling good.
There's Jack. Look at this, his birthday.
I love his balloons.
He's got all his balloons and shit. That's nice. Happy birthday, Jack.
Where's the cake?
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it till September.
Uh-oh.
Okay, now,
No.
let's see.
No, collateral looking. Stop it.
Susie. Where's Susie?
She's asleep.
Oh, there you are. I see your hand. Wait.
Her computer started echoing, so I demoted her to the bedroom. Any words of wisdom, O Supreme Leader, before we get started?
Who?
That would be you, Robert.
I'm drinking. I can't conduct and drink.
Robert, I've got it figured out. Next meeting we have, you need to figure out somebody to give yourself the white, short hair, bald head, in blue.
Oh, man. Well, as you can
That's a
see,
reference.
this is supposed to be white here, but I went for my cut and it was slaughtered. I mean, I'm like, I look like I'm going to the army, except I'm fat. You know, I'm like, are you kidding me? This short? That's crazy. But
It's summertime.
It
It's a good
is pretty
summertime
short.
cut, yeah.
I think it's the shortest I've ever seen you have it.
Well, this was an accident by the barber. It was like one of those, oops, well, go ahead and finish it, you know? So anyway, that's the story.
I would be
behind-
finding a different barber myself.
Yeah.
Well, my regular barber wasn't there and I needed a cut. So I took the guy, you know, the next person. Big mistake.
Yeah, don't do
Anyway,
that. Always
anyway,
wait for your stylist.
there you go.
Actually,
Well,
it's scary. It'll grow back.
Words to
At least
live
for
by.
most of us.
Well,
right?
let me make a suggestion, Robert. The thing that fixes that is a hat. You need to get a hat.
Yeah,
Or
that
two,
Oh,
works.
I was
or
gonna
three,
buy the
or
hats.
four, or a dozen.
yeah, I got a couple maybe. Or my wrestling mask. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, since Alan already has the chapeau on and looks good in it, the mask will be great for you, Robert. That way we have a theme going.
Although if you wear it, John probably won't let you into the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Who you
True.
are.
He's
Yeah.
like, I'm incognito. Yeah, yeah. We'll do the secret handshake.
Tell everybody it doesn't take you long to comb your hair in the morning.
All I have is baseball caps. So, you know, I do have one cowboy hat, but
Oh,
I
wow.
can't wear it in a chair because it keeps coming off.
Well, funny you guys say that. Well, my regular hats, my Outback hats, without hair, they're like too big. So it's like wobbly, you know? But I've got others. On that note, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for walking. See, I'm drinking. Thank you for joining tonight. Good to see you guys. And I just want to say a little thing here. With all the turmoil going on, I'm glad we can all get together. We're like-minded individuals when it comes to the photography, and we accept each other for who we are. So I thank you for being part of my life and being friends as well as club members with each other.
Here, here.
Here, here.
I agree.
Hey.
If I had some wine, I'd toast it.
Neil, you have wine? Come on.
Yes, yeah, I did. Yeah, here.
All right, here, everybody. All right, John. John has the floor tonight. He is giving us a lecture on how to shoot fireworks.
Well,
John?
I'm just, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you John's way of shooting fireworks. Now, I've given this talk a couple of times. I've modified it again, and I gave it last year to Capture San Antonio. And since then, I've added probably another 10 slides to it. But the whole thing about is shooting fireworks is practice if you haven't done it a lot. It takes some, it doesn't take skill, okay? Shooting fireworks does not take skill. It just takes a lot of luck. Let me get into here and let's go to this. There's that. Dad, I can't see it.
We can.
Yeah, we can.
I know you can, but I've got that stupid thing at the top. I can't get into my slideshow. Go on, dog. Go. Go away.
Press X.
There it is. No, I know. There it is.
Just kidding.
There
There it is.
Looks good.
Okay. This is how to shoot fireworks John style. It is kind of, I started out here and said where to start. Now, and it's kind of like you need to look around and find out where the fireworks are going to be. In San Antonio, it's pretty simple. They're downtown. You can go downtown and fight the crowds, or you can find places in and around the hills around here to take pictures, or you can go to different places and take pictures. I do them at SeaWorld. I do them at Fiesta, Texas. I do them at Fort Sam, downtown, Woodlawn. You can go up to Bernie. You can go to New Braunfels. There's all kinds of different places. But if you're going to shoot them, you need to know where you're going to shoot. So you go there before the fireworks. But get the lay of the land, find out where they shoot the fireworks from is a good thing to do. Then find a place. And you want to look at backdrops. Look for things like maybe trees, buildings, something that's going to be in the picture besides the firework. Unless you're going to do something with firework. I'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, then when you get ready to go to shoot these things, get there early. You want to claim that spot. If once you pick a spot that's good, it's high, gives you good visibility, you want to make sure you get there early. Take a chair. It's because it's going to be, you know, you're going to be sitting down. I sit in a chair, I have my tripod in front of me, my remote in my hand, and I just start taking pictures. So you also need to know the length of the show, because you're going to do a couple of things. One, you're going to take some test shots. So you don't want to waste a whole lot of time. If there's going to be 20 or 30 or 40 or even 50 fireworks, you're going to take 5 or 6 test shots. You're going to take about 5 or 6 good firework shots, and the rest is waste. You fire as much as you possibly can for as long as you can. So knowing the length of the show gives you an idea when the finale is going to be, and you want to get all your shooting done before the finale. I'll get to that too. Then you got to think about, what are you going to do with your images? Fireworks are, you know, they're good displays. They make good cards. They make good background pictures. And you can do things with them, composites. So, you know, there's all kinds of stuff you could do with them. I'll show you some of the stuff I have done with them. You're going to need a tripod. Light, medium, heavy, doesn't matter, as long as it holds your camera. It holds the lens that you're going to use. You're going to need a cable release, a wireless remote, some kind of trigger. I know a lot of people that use sound triggers, same kind of triggers they use for lightning, so that the shutter goes as soon as the firework pops. But a lot of times you get false triggers with those, because depending on how close you are to the firework, you will hear the sound of the firework going off. With a sound trigger, it will trigger your camera based on that sound, and you don't want that. You want the trigger of the firework popping in the sky. So I don't like remote triggers. I do all mine with just a cable release and time. You're going to turn off long exposure noise reduction. It's great for at night shots because it's going to take down the noise, but I'm going to show you that you don't really need that noise reduction because you're not going to get that much noise. So what happens with noise reductions is it slows down your shot. The camera takes the time to process the picture before it finally allows you to take another picture. And by that time, 2 more fireworks have gone off. So you've lost 2 more opportunities. So I don't use long exposure noise reduction. Shooting high quality files, raw is, I shoot nothing in raw. I shoot everything in raw. Because you're gonna make a lot of adjustments to fireworks. Set your camera as low ISO, 100 and 200. I set mine about 150. So it's kind of strange, but it does work rather well. Shoot probably, I say F8 to F11, because that's going to give you a good depth of field focus. It's going to take a little bit of, if you have something in front, it's going to be kind of sort of sharp. Something behind it, it's going to be kind of sort of sharp, but you really want the firework to be sharp. So F11 is what I normally use, and to shoot, depending on how far away I am, you may have to go to F8 depending on the distance from the firework. Turn off your autofocus, manual focus. What I do is I set my lens to infinity. Now I know a lot of lenses don't have infinity marks anymore. So before the fireworks show starts, while it's still daylight, I will set my lens to infinity by focus on whatever is the furthest thing away from me. And as soon as it focuses, I set it on manual and I don't touch it until I'm done and ready to go home. So I do not use autofocus. Autofocus takes too long and cannot focus sharp. There are ways of doing it. If you have a lens that has, I do have one that has focus marks on it. It's an old Nikon that I put on, since I run everything manual anyway, I put an adapter on my Fuji. I put the Nikon on the adapter and I use that lens. So it comes in pretty handy. I can't do it anymore because unfortunately I gave the lens to LJ, so to use on his camera. But no, that's another story. The lenses that you use the fastest lens you got. I have tried different lenses for different things, and I shoot if I'm close, like I'm out at USAA. They have their spring festival every year, and they shoot off fireworks. Well, we go out there and we park over by the lake, and I sit there and I use a 35 millimeter 1.4. When I'm shooting handheld fireworks, I use 35 millimeter 1.4. I use the fastest lens I got. Normally, I'll shoot with an 18 to 55, but 2.8. And then I'll shoot with my 55 to 200, which is 3.5 to 4.8. Those are ones that get you further and further away. Like if you're at Woodlawn Lake or if you're sitting on the hill trying to shoot downtown, I don't use any of those. If I'm trying to shoot downtown from whatever the name of that hill is over here, Inspiration Hill or whatever.
Yeah.
I use my 100 to 400, and I get a perfect shot of downtown fireworks from there. I have an old Tokina 60 to 300 4 to 5.6, and I use this one for special purposes. I'll show you a couple of samples later, but that's supposed to say push-pull. It's a push-pull zoom instead of a twist zoom. I don't know if you've ever seen any of the old-fashioned lenses where you actually push them out to zoom them and pull them back in to take them out. They're very a lot easier to do special effects without moving the lens too much. You don't have to worry about twisting. Some of the newer lenses are pretty stable now with the focus and zooming. You don't have to worry about that, but that's a really good lens, and I've got a couple examples of those. Timing. Timing is critical when taking fireworks. Now, a lot of people go out here and they'll set their camera and bulb and they just go take pictures. They push the button and wait for the firework to go off, then they push the button and they're done. That's all well and good. The problem of it is a lot of times you don't know what kind of firework is going off. You don't really know exactly what you're going to do. And if they shoot off 2 or 3 of them and you're sitting on bulb, you just lost a shot because it's blown out. The whole idea is to time your shots for some level of time. And what I always do is I generally shoot within 3 seconds, 4 seconds, or 5 seconds on fireworks, depending on my distance away from the fireworks set off. And I will listen for the pop. The pop is when they launch it. A lot of times you can see it. And if you see it and you want to capture that trail, then you fire the shutter when you see it, but you're going to need a longer exposure. So I generally count from the time you hear the pop to 1001, 1002, 1003, whatever, until I see the flower go off. If that's at 1003 or 1004, that tells me I need a 4-second shutter. And so I'll set my shutter for 4 seconds. If I want to capture some trails leading into it, and some of these fireworks leave some really cool trails because they don't go straight up, they'll kind of spiral, and you can't really see the spiral with the naked eye, but you can if you set your camera on your timer to go off. You can actually see the spiral in the sky as it goes up. So the whole idea is you're going to have to do some experimentation until you can see what's your good time to go. I generally shoot 3 to 4 seconds, period. That's it. So if I want to capture a trail, then I'll run up and I'll capture a couple of trails. I won't do them all. It's kind of, shooting fireworks wastes film. And I did this one film, and let me tell you, I would do it with film, and I would have to take 2 cameras with 2 rolls of film in it, and I would run through both rolls of film with my camera, and I'm lucky if I got 5 pictures. So with digital, man, you can set this thing to just fire off 3 frames a second, whatever you want, to take as many you want. And you can either do, timed shutter so that it goes off every second, so that you can see it go off, and you can put it all together, and you can get all kinds of kind of neat pictures out of that. There's all kinds of things that you can do. Now, the best time to shoot fireworks is the blue hour. And you have to do that carefully. A lot of times, the blue hour does not last very long. So you may not get a full fireworks show. You might get 1 or 2 fireworks during blue hour. I have gotten, I think, 6 blue hour fireworks. 3 of them have been from the exact same spot 3 years in a row. Other than that, that's all I got. It was just those 3. And I've got those put together in here in the slideshow. But they're taking things that you're going to have to do. They're really cool in blue hour, but a lot of times the fireworks don't start till 9, 9:30, 9:15, whatever, and blue hour is at 8:30. So you have to see if they're going to do what they call teaser shots. And they do those once in a while. And very few people do those. I know the USAA does them. I know they do those over at Fort Sam. I'm not too sure about SeaWorld and Fiesta, Texas, because I've always gotten there after blue hour. But you need to also watch for ambient light. Again, light noise is just like doing stars and stuff like that. Light noise causes all kinds of problems. And a lot of places, like you're sitting over Fiesta, Texas, and you're sitting in La Cantera parking lot, you're going to have street lights. It's kind of hard to figure out how to get rid of the street lights. Well, the thing to do is move further away and use a longer lens and shoot between the street lights. Or take the street lights out in post-processing, which is what I do. It's kind of a whole kind of thing, but you got to watch out for ambient light. Street lights, car lights, building lights, all of that. You need to take that into account if you're going to have those in your shot. These are my 3 blue hour shots. These were all taken from USAA campus, all taken from the exact same spot. You can see the first 2 have the same tree in them. The other one is the tree that's actually on the other side because they moved the location of the fireworks. I think it was 2 years ago. Or we moved, I'm not sure which. We always try to sit in about the same spot. But those are ones taken at blue hour. And they are kind of pretty. But if you're going to do something with fireworks, they need to be black background, and especially if you're going to do composites. Here are some star trails. Now, I told you about star trails. Taking trails is, and you got a tank, you can actually see, I started this one right when the firework, and the one in the middle, I started it right when the firework went off. Because you see the sparks going up in the air from when it launched. And you see the tornado effect that it made going up in the air.
That's very cool.
They get really cool. And so it gets some, and you get the streaks, you get the lines. The one down, all 3 of these are for Fiesta, Texas. So taken from, in fact, you can see the lights on the trees on the first one at the bottom, and that's from the parking lot lights. What I did was I went out to La Cantera by Nordstrom's, and I walked over to the other side of the parking lot by where the trees are, and I stood there and I shot back along the line of the trees.
In full force.
Where?
The tree butterfly is, they're writing down that little mother. It's loaded with them. So when he comes Monday, you'll know.
Okay.
The butterfly tree. It's the only tree with a butterfly stuck on it.
Do what?
I
The
know you
little
don't go
tree?
out there very often.
The little tree?
Who?
The little tree where you
Yeah,
put the
it's got
butterfly?
the butterfly on it. The big butterfly that goes around.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh,
Huh?
I thought you were talking.
That Ernie? Okay. All right. Well, I muted him. We don't have to listen to about butterflies. So when he wants to come back on, he can unmute himself. But anyway, as you can see, Star Trails are very cool to do. And a lot of them is, how to go through. The first one, I did not do a lot of post-processing on this because generally I do not like smoke in my shots. To get rid of the smoke, you have to do your dehaze and highlights and stuff like that to get rid of all those. So I left this because I thought it was kind of cool looking. So I left it alone. It's just kind of neat. When you take a firework, you really want to make sure you fill the frame. So, and that's why I like to shoot, get an idea of where they're going to be. And if I use a long lens, then I will try to scope it out. This first one right here is taken with my 55 to 200. The one on the right side of the Tower of the Americas is taken with my 400. Now, I don't remember if it has the doubler on it or not, but I am up on Inspiration Hill taking this shot.
Where is that, John?
Yeah, where is that?
Where is Inspiration Hill?
It is off of between Bandera and Callahan on the inside of 1604.
Between Bandera and what on 1604?
Callahan. So once you get on Bandera and you go inside 1604, you're going to go down to, there's a first light I think is Eckerd. And you're going to go past that and you're going to turn left and go back up into the residential areas. And you drive around till you find a street that gives you a good view. Evers, not Eckerd. Oh, Evers, not Eckerd. Evers.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've seen it from Hillcrest, and between Hillcrest and Bandera and Hillcrest.
Yeah.
You go up towards Wonderland, and Inspiration is right around there as well. There's a nice little hill there.
Yeah. It's on we got Club Hill Drive. Yeah, Club Hill Drive. We have Susie has a friend's mother lives there. What we do is we go park in front of her house, and that street just looks right straight downtown. So it's very cool place to go to shoot downtown. Even if you want to shoot skyline shots, it's a good place to go. And one of the cool things is when you're there, and I'll show you, I think I have a picture of it somewhere in here, is Woodlawn Lake is between you and downtown.
Yeah.
So if Woodlawn Lake is shooting off fireworks and downtown is shooting off fireworks, you can get them both at the same time. Yeah. It's kind of cool. You want to have something in your foreground. So I did the first one over here on this side is taken out at the Botanical Gardens. Now, what I do is go out to Botanical Gardens during Fiesta. Fort Sam launches fireworks. Well, you can actually see them very well from Botanical Gardens. This being the conservatory, and they shoot right over the top of it. This one right here in the middle is from a shot of downtown, from the hill. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Susie reminded me that Botanical Gardens is, to get here to do this, you have to be a member of the Botanical Gardens. It's members only that can go in there at night. The center one's downtown from the hill. That was taken a couple of years ago. The one on the far right was actually taken out at Randolph Air Force Base when Randolph used to do fireworks. Now, what I did with this one is I actually popped my flash, got the people sitting in front of me, and then the firework behind it afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's actually one solid shot, but there's the setting on the flash where you can have your before the shutter, after the shutter, whatever time frame for, I forgot what it's called, but where the sync on the flash goes off before, just as the shutter opens. So when I've got open for 3 seconds, just as the shutter opens, the flash goes off, and then 2 seconds later, I get the firework. So it worked out pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do with your fireworks? Well, I create things. I create banners. I got 4th of July banner, New Year's banners, New Year's cards. These are basically individual fireworks that I did composites with. The red, white, and blue one was not red, white, and blue fireworks. I changed the colors on these. You can do that in Lightroom. You can do it in Photoshop. So, I mean, just by doing a composite, I'm going to show you how to do a composite a little bit of fireworks. It's really simple. It's very easy. The problem of it is getting to clean them up. Okay. So these are all composites, just created for certain things, and they're from different shows. I have, I think, something like 700 or 800 shots on my computer of nothing but fireworks. This first one right here, that is a 5-shot display. Those are 5 different fireworks I put together into one firework. So it looks like a finale. Now, when I talked about finales are really cool to try to take pictures of. However, by the time a finale starts and by the time a finale ends, you can't hardly see anything in the fireworks because of all the smoke, the bright, and it blows them out. You're going to end up with nothing but a big white smoky blob in the middle of your screen. That's all you're going to get. So I learned how to do composites so I could make my own finales. So I would do slideshows of fireworks shows, and I would make a finale of the end of the fireworks shows. And I did videos of these a long time ago. I don't do them anymore. But this one right here on the right-hand side is actually one out at Jim's photo thing several years ago. This is actually 6 photos, all composited into one photo. And the one photo is right here over the conservatory is that little orange thing in the middle. That's the one shot. The rest of it is all stuff I added afterwards. They're all from the same show, all shots taken in different times that I put all together into the same photo. This is one of my favorites, and this was named by my granddaughter as my fairy, because it looks like a fairy. So it's just, I don't know what kind of firework it was. It's just one firework that went off, and it looks like a fairy. This is downtown, different shows from downtown. I tried to get it so that the tower would show up in the front. If you're down on the ground, you're lucky if you can get a whole firework in one shot, and along with the tower. So I tried to do it from way far back so I can get more of the tower with the full frame firework.
Where was that shot from, John? Do you remember?
It's over at that Inspiration Hill.
Inspiration Hill. Yeah.
Yeah. This one right here, the one on the left, is at SeaWorld. Now this is the new location of SeaWorld fireworks. They had the old location used to be down by the roller coaster, shot out over the lake. This is new, and they've added a laser light show. This is handheld. This is not on a tripod. So it's basically, I'm sitting in the stands at the water area where they do all the water skiing stuff. And this was the show that night. The one on the right is another of my favorites. It's called the Firebird. I don't know if it's just the timing of the shot or if it was shaped that way. I don't remember. It's been too long ago. But this is, I believe, taken at Fiesta, Texas.
That is cool. I like that one.
These are 2 of my fine art fireworks. Now, these are actual fireworks taken at SeaWorld several years ago when the fireworks used to go out over the lake from around where the roller coaster is. Since they put in the new roller coaster, they can't do that anymore, so they had to move them. That's when they went to the new location. But basically, I've created, I've actually sold one of each of these. So this is, I guess, my best sellers, I've sold one. But
To the manager,
I like playing with fireworks, the different softwares and stuff you can do with them. They're just so cool. You create art with it. I do. This one right here on the left is actually one from a previous one that I used a program called Fractalius on, which basically electrifies it. Now, Topaz has one, I think, in their Glow software that does electrify. I don't think it does as good a job as Fractalius did. And Fractalius cost me a whopping $10. So it's a pretty cool program. The one on the right-hand side is, I call it a morning glory.
It looks like a morning glory.
It looks like a morning glory, and this is a specialty shot. Now, I have a couple of specialty shots. This one I did, and the next two I did not do. But I've been practicing taking fireworks. The key with fireworks is taking it in and out of focus while you're shooting it. And a lot of people go, what about zooming? Well, zooming does too, but it doesn't do a cool effect. If you take it in and out of focus, you can create what they call blooms. This is a bloom. Now this is actually, I didn't finish it because the hard part with the lenses that don't have focus stops on them, you cannot tell when you're in reach infinity focus. So if I backed it off out of focus and I shot the camera and I tried to take it back into focus during the shot, so I'm doing a 2-second shot, 3-second shot. So I start out of focus and I take it back into focus. This is what happens. Now I didn't hit the focus point because it's not sharp in the center, but I think it's kind of cool because you can see the trail going up and what you see is this flower. And it gave me this cool picture. I really liked it.
So, John, can I ask a quick question about that?
Yep.
When you're saying you're taking it, in and out of focus, are you starting there and just manually adjusting the focus on that during that exposure? And
Yes.
then-
Yes.
Okay. And you're not having trouble so much with vibration on the camera when you're doing that?
No.
Really?
It's like I said, it takes practice.
Yeah.
And I have not mastered it, and that's why this one's out of focus, because there wasn't a camera shake. It's just that I couldn't get to the focus. Some of the newer lenses have very smooth focus rings on them, and you don't have to move it a lot to take it in and out of focus. The problem of it is knowing when it's back in focus again.
Right. I can see
Okay,
that.
so because you're not looking through the viewfinder when you're doing it. You're doing this all in the dark by hand. Okay, you got to remember you're in the dark. You can't see what you're doing.
Right.
So what I learned to do was I focused the lens and I put a piece of tape on it, both sides, and that's where focus is. Now, if I back the focus off, I can back the focus off one side or the other of that piece of tape. And I know if I bring it back into alignment on the piece of tape, I'm back in focus again.
I'm wondering, I have a feature on my camera called Live Composite, and I'm wondering, because I can see on the back of my screen what's happening, I'm wondering if I can't see where it's coming in and out of focus. I'm gonna try that. That's really interesting.
I don't know, give it a try. I mean, it's really cool because these are the two, I didn't take these. I actually stole these from the demonstration software.
Those are amazing.
Online. The guy was telling how to do this and gave it instructions on how to do this. One is going from in and one is going out. I do not remember which one is which, but I think the one on the right is starting with the focus going in, and then as it spreads out, the focus goes out.
And they're doing the same thing, just changing the focus on the lens. That's all they're doing. Is
Yes,
twisting
that's
their
all you need
lens?
to do. But when you want to go, the one on the left is the hard one.
Because you're going from
Because
out of
that's the
focus
one that
into
you take
focus.
out of focus and take it into focus.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So that's
Yeah.
the hardest one to do. And that's the one how I ended up with that one a while ago. So it's just kind of however you want to do it. It's just a neat thing to play with. There's all kinds of things. If you got to remember that when you're shooting fireworks, you're only there for yourself. You're not there for anybody else.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to sell these things. So what you're going to do is play with them, zoom in and out, focus in and out, try different experiments. I've been shooting fireworks for a long time, so I have tried and I have thrown away more than I kept. These are kind of some unique shots. Both of these are cell phone shots.
Oh, wow.
The first shot is taken at Niagara Falls from my hotel room. Through the window, that's the American Falls in the background, and the fireworks that they launch. The one on the right was taken at South Padre Island last year with my cell phone from the balcony of my condo, just holding the phone. Now, there's all kinds of software you can buy for your phone that does time delay, time release, longer shutters,
Yeah.
faster speeds, everything you can do you can get apps for your phone to do these. Both of these were done with just my phone. No app, just sitting there holding the phone and hitting the little button. That's it. So I was very pleased with the one on the right because I got quite a few shots, some of them that this is probably the best of the ones I got with my phone. Phone shots are not, they're notorious for being bad. Let's put it that way. Handheld shots. Now, a lot of people don't think about handheld fireworks. You buy your own fireworks, you have your own small stuff, and I got into this with my grandkids. I mean, I don't go to big fireworks shows anymore. Come 4th of July or New Year's, we're over at the kids' house, and we're shooting fireworks off in the street for the grandkids. So I go over there, I take my fastest lens, I got my 35 millimeter 1.4. I've got it on either on my T2 or on my T30, and I'm out there just taking pictures. And how you want to do it is you can stand close, you can stand far away. I even got a few sky shots from doing the same thing. You just want to make sure you want to be safe because these things get hot and you can get burned. I had one actually go off. I was close to it. That Mark set off last year that shot off. It went right straight at me. I moved and missed, and it almost hit my car. So it just kind of be safe. You want to pre-focus. What I do for my pre-focus is I stand where I want to be, and I focus on whoever's lighting the firework. I focus on that point. That's my focus point. So as long as I'm sharp at that point right there, all I have to do is pan up to get the firework. And I don't move. As long as I don't move, just go up and down, I'm staying in focus. So pre-focus. You can either set your thing on high speed. I go 3 to 5 feet per second, and I can go up as high as 7 frames per second. But I don't. It doesn't do much good, but you can get different shots. And what you do with these shots is fill the frame, and I'll show you that in a minute. But you know, I use my 1.4, so I'm shooting very fast. What I do is, you know, this is the original shot of one of those Roman candle sparkler things going off, and I picked a point that I really liked and I cropped it. As long as it's sharp, even the crop is pretty sharp. You can see I'm at 160 at a half a second at 1.4. So, and that's holding it by 35 millimeter, and it did pretty good. Each of all these these are all handheld, different shots. And depending on where I am standing close to them, and a lot of times you don't know what they're going to do. So, you know, you get a Roman candle by holding the shutter down for like 3 seconds for a Roman candle. I got a little bit of shaking there, but a lot, but you get different color streaks going up. It's just, again, fun to play with. And even out of focus shots are fun to play with because they make great backgrounds. Sparklers. Sparklers are another. Kids love sparklers. Don't ask me why. And trying to get a kid to stand still and without running around to get a sparkler is, I'm lucky that I got these shots. But I actually got Amy to draw a circle with hers before she took off. The neighbor kid and again, I think, I don't know which one that is, but anyway, they're all out there making circles and different stuff, but you get different views and different effects handheld. Now, all these overhead shots, these are all handheld shots. So I'm still shooting at very fast speeds, very low ISOs. And that's it for the slideshow anyway. Now, I started working on, let's see, I picked one out a while ago. Let's do. I started working on a composite to show you what I do for composites. I don't know if that's working or not. Yeah, it's working. To sit and play with this thing, it's because I opened this up in Photoshop, so now I've got all the, and it goes across in Bridge, so I can sit here and I can play with all the sliders. A lot of these I did work in Lightroom, or actually I did them in On1. But playing around with different things and getting different types of, you can change the temperatures on them. That's all, they still see the slideshow? They don't see that one?
No, it's still the slideshow.
Well, crapola. How do I get back to where it was? Oh, there, 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 there. Still the slideshow. Really?
We would not lie to you.
I'm standing right here. Look at
Well, I'm trying to figure out how I get back to the where I was.
John, Tammy won't lie to you, but I will.
Yeah, now we can see Photoshop, John. I'll lie to you.
Well, how come this keeps coming back up though?
Joking.
It's an
Oh, there we
undocumented
go.
feature. Hey, look at
Screen
that.
share ended. Now I go back to screen share again. Now I can go to Photoshop. Boom. There we go. So I start, you know, doing different things with these. But this is actually in Lightroom. So I've got to move everybody around. You're in the wrong side of the show. So you can.
She move this around and not have as good a view.
The whole idea is to try to figure out, you know, because right now it's kind of the sky is not black. It's kind of brownish because of the sky and the lights. So all I did was I just lowered my blacks and the sky went away. So did the smoke. But you lost a little color. So now you have to start playing with exposures and stuff to bring back something. So I might want a little bit of smoke in the sky here to kind of show a little bit of different things.
How'd I lose it?
The really cool thing is this dehaze. I think it's the same thing in On1 as dehaze slider that gets rid of all these different lights and stuff. But it's the whole thing is try to go through and figure out what you're going to need to get one to be what you want it to look like. I mean, I can blow it off. I can do all kinds of stuff with it. I can change the colors of it. So let's see. I want to go to hue, so I want this to be a little bit more red, orange. But you can do all that, and then, you know, it's play with it until you get what you like, what you're looking for. Can't without, I'm trying to do this too quick, I guess, but it's just to get rid of the smoke, get the sky black. Now I've got some of the building down here. I don't have a lot of it in this particular picture, but let's see, I'm gonna have to.
You can just crop those out, can't you?
Yes, but I'm gonna edit it in Photoshop. That's up, do the cropping there. It's the trying to get it to do to show what you want and move it around, and so don't crop until you're finished doing whatever you're going to do. If you're trying to make a composite and you want to have that composite be created in this one thing, with depending on whatever size, whether you want it to be vertical or square or horizontal, once you get it done, then you can crop it. Seems to be taking a long time.
Ta 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 ta.
That's my fast computer. Okay. It better not crash on me.
EM50.
Yeah, damn it. It just did. So.
If it does, we can keep the discussion going.
Need to get the treasurer to buy you a new computer.
Speak louder, please.
I think he said you
She said, as long as she can spend the club funds, she's happy.
Oh.
I heard get the president a new camera. Was that right?
Well, we do have a computer sitting back in that empty space.
Yeah, I know that nobody's using. So
that nobody's using, all locked up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's not good.
All right, now I can go into here. If not, I'm going to have to open it up and do it in the hard way. Why is it taking so long to do this? Surely the Zoom is not causing all this problems. Must be a big file. Ah, big file. It's not a good one to look, and now that I look at it, it's not a really good one to show either. So, but anyway. What you can do is you go through here, and I'll open up another one. Let's find one, a good one. Pretty much the same bill, same picture. Now, and what you can do. No, that's why I wouldn't know, because it's a TIFF file. But you can now take this picture and you can put it into the other one. Good Lord, big file. All you got to do to make this show up and put the two files together is change the blending mode. So if I change the blending mode to lighten, you can see that the black background of the one on top has gone away. So now I can take this and I can move it wherever I want. And you can add more, you can do things. If it had a trail on it, for instance, I'm gonna assume this little dot right here, in this is a trail. I can turn this so that that trail is coming from the same place as the other one. So it looks like it's
John, I'm still
together.
seeing Lightroom.
Yeah, we're not seeing anything, John.
You're not seeing anything?
You
Well,
have
we're
to
seeing-
change what
I'm seeing-
application that you're sharing.
Yeah, I'm seeing your screen, but I'm not seeing what you're doing to it. I mean, I can't
Yeah,
see
really.
that you.
You're
what
still
button
in
you're pushing
Lightroom.
or- Yeah, we're still in Lightroom.
You're still in Lightroom?
Mhm.
It doesn't share your actual whole screen. It shares whatever application you choose it to share with.
Okay. I didn't realize that. So I have to keep going. I thought I did go back to it. I did. It went into Lightroom though, didn't it?
Yeah, there you go.
Yay.
Okay. Now,
So we have no idea what you
let me go back. Let me go back to the beginning, I guess. What I did was, of course, I started with this picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I opened up another firework and I drug it into this section.
Right.
And you can see it's still black. Now, what I've got here is I've got this thing down here in the bottom that's not very good. But what you're going to do is you're going to change the blending mode to lighten. When you change it to lighten, anything that's dark or black goes away. So this now, if you can see, you can actually see the other one behind this one. So I put it back over the top of black. It looks like if I want to have it blended together, then I could put it in here so that that shows through, kind of shows through, so it doesn't look fake, believe it or not. And then what I did was I rotated it so that these dots right down here at the bottom look like it's coming from the same spot, so I can move it down here. All right. So now I can go through and I can prop it down. But what I want to do is I want to get rid of this spot down here at the bottom, because you can still see this part of that building there. You have to excuse me, so I'm still not used to all these stupid tools. There we go. And I liked, this is still set up from the old days. Oh well, anyway. Oh, as soon as I erase it, it's not there anymore. But you got it. You. I don't know. You get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's by moving stuff around and creating composites. You have a way of creating and seeing something that a lot of people don't see or can't see. I don't know why it's not
Look on the layer, John.
Oh, I'm not on the layer. Yeah, that's it. I knew there was a reason. There we go. So, I mean, and you can keep adding more and more to it. And the bigger the screen, you just don't want to spread them out. The first time I did that, in a picture I showed at the gardens where I had the 6 different fireworks, I did that as an experiment to see how compositing worked. But I didn't think about composition as to how a fireworks show works. A fireworks show usually goes off from the same location. So you don't want to have them spread out across a whole scene, but not tied together. And that's why you don't see it anymore because of the, I erased part of the line there. Let's see. You see the 3 dots there, and I moved it around. I moved the 3 dots to aim them. I rotated this thing so that those dots pointed back towards the location of where the first one went off. So it looks like the second one's leading into it. So it joins it all together and ties it all together. So, but that's pretty much basically it.
When you got rid of that background so that, you know, all the black went away, so you could kind of almost like the firework was transparent almost.
Correct.
How did you do that? You went up to filter and.
No, up to blending modes.
Where's blending mode? I mean, I don't know where you find that.
Oh, on Photoshop, it is.
It's right next to opacity.
Right next to, see where opacity is? Can you see the, damn it,
can you put your cursor on the opacity?
Opacity is right here. It says 100%. I can lower it down, lower the opacity, up and down. Blending mode is right next to it where it says lighten. Normally it says normal.
Yeah, see, I'm not seeing that. Maybe it's because all of you guys are maybe sitting on top of that.
Trish, if you go up to the very top.
Yeah, move that. That's what I did. I moved everybody to the other side.
Well, if you go up to the very top where it says view options, you click on that.
Yeah.
And then one of the things is to, where is
there we
it?
go.
It says
I
show
moved you
video
all.
panel. Get rid of video panel.
Okay, so, yeah, I see the opacity. So all you did was change the opacity.
No, change.
No.
Is that correct?
What I did was right next to the opacity is one thing called the blending modes, and that's
Okay, so you had normal and then you moved it to.
You see normal. Click the down arrow, and each one of these is a blending mode, and it gives you different effects for different things.
So what did you use?
I use Lighten.
Lighten. Okay, that makes sense to me.
Okay. I mean, you can use basically each of the blending modes is broken up into different sections. You have normal is at the top. The next one down has to do with color by either changing it to darkening it, lightening it, multiplying it, causing it to get darker, the whole thing to get darker. Okay. The next one down is basically lighten. You do lighten the colors. You can screen change everything really, really bright. You can do color dodging, all this different stuff. Next one down on top of that is overlay. And you have the different versions of overlay, soft light, hard light, vivid light. It just changes the way how it looks. So as you're creating pictures and you're doing something with different colors, especially when you're doing overlays, you're going to want to use some sort of blending mode to change the blending modes to do things, because you can actually change the blending mode on a photograph and change the whole color of the photograph. Now, I don't know if has anybody heard of LUTs, lookup tables? LUTs are a new way of changing colors and modifying colors in a photograph. And they have now come out with LUTs for Photoshop, Lightroom, and ON1. It started basically with ON1, and then it moved into Lightroom. So they're called color lookup tables. And what it is you can go through and you can look at them, and it will change. You can change a picture, and by using a different lookup table, and turn it into a cinematic effect. So it looks like an old cinema photo. And so it's just a quick way of moving around those. And that's all your blending modes are. They're part of the lookup tables. By changing the blending modes on some pictures, you change the color of those pictures, and therefore you save it. You can save it as a lookup table. So the next time you do it, if you have something similar, you go click on the lookup table and reapply it. You don't have to remember how you did it. It's kind of like a preset. So,
Sure.
anyway, any other questions, comments, concerns?
Is there any way we can get a copy of your PowerPoint?
Yeah, I can
Well,
have,
you
we
will.
can have, I can save it as a PDF and we can put it up on the website.
Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
would like to have access to that.
Okay?
Yeah, also you're gonna save the whole video, put it on Facebook, and it'll be on the website, so you can go through this whole presentation again.
Awesome.
Oh, well, that would be really cool if I remembered to turn on recording.
You did. It's recording up there. I see it, John.
It's been recording the entire time.
Okay. as long as it's recording. I guess I have it when I set it up. I've got recording, turn on recording automatically.
Boy.
So I got one. Let me see if I can do this right. I got one more picture to show you, and this is a lucky shot. It's a fireworks shot, but it's a very lucky shot. Let's see if I can find it. Back to here and do that. I need to go to, we went to the coast, I'm going to say a couple of years ago. And we actually went down there to shoot, if I remember right, we went down there to shoot shooting stars, to which I never saw one. But I ended up shooting the Milky Way, and I lucked into a picture because it was 4th of July weekend. I don't know if it's in my phone.
That's on my screen. I don't know if you did on everybody else's. Maybe it's just me.
What's that? What did you say? I did what?
Might be just me.
Everybody still there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm still looking. Susie's came out here and said that she locked up or something, but I guess it kicked her out. Let me see if I can
Eric
find
and
it.
Neil are gone.
Oh, their videos are gone, yeah.
Well, yeah, I know all those are gone. I turned them all off.
I turned my video off on purpose.
Oh, we don't want to see me anymore? Or?
Oh no, I can see you.
Yeah.
You don't want to see me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't really know where I put it. I have a picture of the Milky Way is what I did. And if I can find it, I'll post it to Facebook or something. But it's a picture of the Milky Way, and while we were there, some people were setting fireworks off on the beach. And I happened to capture the Milky Way, and of course it's a time shot. And it's, I think, about 35 or 40 seconds shot of the Milky Way, and 2 fireworks went off on the beach at the same time. So I have 2 fireworks over on the one side and the Milky Way in the middle. And it turned out really cool. And when my drive crashed the other day, I'm going through trying to recover pictures and moving back around, and finally I have all these pictures in all these different cloud locations and stuff. And I found this picture and I said, hey, that would be a good one for the slideshow. I don't know. I see Jack has got his picture from last year up there. Yeah.
So one thing I want to tell you, John, is I was
2014.
curious what you were going to say about your exposure and everything. You started out right away zeroing in on the F11, F8, exactly how I shot this image 2 years.
And that's why I don't go downtown, because to me, yeah, it's a great picture of the tower with fireworks behind it, but I'm more interested in having the whole firework. I mean, that's a great picture. I like that picture. In fact, I think it even won a contest somewhere. Either yours or Steve's, one of you, because you both did them at the same time.
That's an old one that John has up there now.
With ISO 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's it doesn't take a lot of fast shutters. It doesn't take a lot of ISO. They're very bright. So it does, you'd be surprised and experiment and come up with stuff and how you want to do it. Fireworks are fun. I don't know who's going to have fireworks this year. Now, we have heard that Fiesta Texas is still going to have fireworks. SeaWorld will still have fireworks. I read that they still may have fireworks at Woodlawn Lake, but they're not going to have them downtown.
Right.
So it
That's
makes
right.
sense.
They didn't have them downtown last year either. I was staying downtown last year for a conference my husband was a part of, and I was very excited because I was going to have front row seats to all kinds of great stuff. And nothing happened downtown, although I was able to see from the hotel room at the Marriott, I was able to see everything across town, and that was pretty spectacular.
Yeah,
But
that's
there were
one of the
no
things that you
fireworks
can
on
do is when you're out away from town.
It's something. This town goes crazy.
Yeah, it's to see the fireworks. And well, the kids live out off Calabria, way out in the boondocks. And so as we're coming back into town, it's dark. It gets real dark along through there. You just see the whole sky just lights up with fireworks all across town. And it is just so cool. And I don't know where to go because you really need to be at someplace high. And I don't want to have to spend a bunch of money to go into one of the hotels, so I can have a shot overlooking the rest of the world to see all of this. And that's when we found this spot up on Inspiration Hill or Point or whatever it's called. You can see a lot from up there in different directions. It's just if you go up there and you look down one side of the hill, you can see downtown. You look down the other side of the hill, you see back across the other side of 1604. So you're looking
That
into.
sounds great. That sounds great because lots of people outside of 1604 set off fireworks. I mean, it's insane how many people, because there's no restrictions out there. So there's tons and tons of fireworks out there.
Yeah. It's really noisy.
Good job for Peter's drone.
I just looked on my calendars, and July 4th falls on a Saturday this year, and more people might be willing to come out and do things on a weekend than on a weekday.
Right.
It's something, I mean, it's more likely that something could happen. Again, they'll want the social distancing, which when you get a big crowd like that.
And that's one of the things they talked about downtown, maybe just shooting off fireworks and have people watch it from your car. Okay, but not having anything in the park. Hemisphere Park would not be nothing going on there. So you would have to sit in parking lots somewhere or in parking garages or in hotels to see the fireworks.
Years ago, I remember going to the Missions games, and you'd have fireworks there. And at that time, they used to have them across 90 at Lackland. So you get 2 fireworks shows for the price of 1.
Nice.
Yep.
Which was,
of course, this year, half the city is not working. So I think they're going to have lots of free time.
Yeah.
Lots of handheld fireworks shots this year.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of fireworks injuries this year.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know, I still don't go out. I mean, I actually went to HEB by myself for the first time since February.
Wow.
So you let you go by yourself?
It was pretty much business as normal, wasn't it?
Well, this crap scares the hell out of me. Okay, I got enough stuff wrong with me. I don't need something else.
Right.
And I don't need to be giving it to my family. So I don't go out. I mean, I would love to go out. I would like to go out. Robert and I were talking just yesterday or day before yesterday, going out just to have a cotton picking beer.
Well, that's the best way to fight the coronavirus is with a Dos Equis.
Yeah, I know. But see, if you're going out, but if you're going out to fight the coronavirus, you got to drink a lot of Corona. That's the antidote for the virus is the Corona beer.
So well known antiviral medication. Yeah.
Or bleach. You could just have some bleach. A little bit
Yeah.
of bleach. I hear people say it really works.
Yeah. How about Tide Pods? Yeah, Tide Pods will work.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they can
Say
be
this
done.
too loud.
Hey, just a quick note on the fireworks thing. I don't know how many of you guys used to pop them. Like, I know they're illegal in the city limits, but as a teenager and in my early 20s, oh my God, we had access to these. I mean, these were the tubes they would set up for fireworks shows. We had access. So on my street, it was always a challenge to the neighbors down the street on both sides to see who could do the best show on the block. And we would go crazy. I remember, aside from those big old tubes, one time we had that huge roll of black cats. I think it's a 400 pound of black cats. I lit the damn thing and I slipped as I tried to run away. So I fell right next to the damn thing. And I've got the scar to prove it. So it was crazy. I remember that, but yeah.
Well, I know fireworks are illegal in San Antonio.
Yes.
Tell that to the people who live in San Antonio.
Oh yeah. No.
I mean, yeah, up and down my street, a few other streets. I sit here and I can sit here in my back patio and watch fireworks all around my house. So I don't need to go very far. But we go over. I mean, the kids actually, I guess they don't live. They're outside the city limits. They're not even in Heloteson, right? They're still in Bexar County, so they get to do all kinds of stuff out there.
Yeah, what we would do is my brother lives off of De Zavala, and we would get together and we would buy massive amounts of fireworks, big stuff, the big things like you took pictures of. And we would all say, if we get a ticket, we're all going to split it. We would talk about that beforehand.
Yeah.
Right? We never did get a ticket, but that was the deal. Made everybody feel better. If you're going to get a $200 or $300 or $400 ticket, it might cost you $20 or $30. Big deal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole thing of it is how they're going to catch you.
Well, somebody could turn you in. I mean,
yeah, somebody can turn you in. I know, but I mean, it's.
Or they could follow the fireworks.
Well, yeah, he starts fires and stuff, but come on.
Yeah.
I burned down fields before. When I was a kid, we had fireworks in Illinois. We had fireworks at Christmas time, New Year's, Thanksgiving, just about every holiday we had fireworks. Fireworks you could buy. There was a fireworks factory not too far from where I lived. You'd go out there and buy year-round fireworks, and we'd go out to the farm and we'd just have a ball.
Did you guys ever take vegetable cans, take the top off, puncture a hole on the other end, stick a black cat in there, and stuff a tennis ball into the open end, put it on the ground at an angle, light that fuse, and see that tennis ball like go off like a cannon, like a cannonball? That was great.
Have you ever seen carbide cannons?
No.
No, they still make it as far as I know. You can buy carbide in a tube.
Well, we'd set up a whole row of these things and shoot them at the neighbors down the street.
Carbide cannon, you would take it, you put them in the bottom, take a bunch of cans, tape them all together, put one can on the bottom that has a small hole in it, put carbide in it, put a little bit of water in there, and hit it with a match, and you could shoot tennis balls 300 yards.
Yeah, we would do potato guns, where it's just a big PVC tube with a potato that just kind of snugly fit in there. And then you would take hairspray and spray it into the thing, close it up real tight. And then you had one of those things like you light your barbecue with, a piezo tweeter. You hit that thing and that potato or tennis ball or whatever you could jam in there would just take off like a rocket.
I see we all had our fun, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And look, I have all my fingers.
Yeah. Ditto.
We've got
next time you're up around the Indiana way, go up there to where they have their watermelon shooting contest.
Oh, I love that.
They actually have watermelon cannons that they shoot watermelon.
I love that, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Cool.
Okay. Anything else?
I have a I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nice job, John.
Yeah, very nice job.
Enjoyed it.
Nice job. Thanks, John.
Definitely. I do have a question. I shoot Fuji right now. Now, regarding film simulation. So I know some shoot Olympus, Nikon, whatever. On the film simulation, if I take it without a simulation, take the photo on my Fuji camera, it seems to have the option to change to a film simulation on Lightroom. Is that correct?
If you shoot RAW.
If I shoot RAW, okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I shoot a film simulation within the camera, will my file be significantly smaller or larger? I haven't.
If you're shooting RAW, it won't make any difference at all. All you'll see is a JPEG on the back of your LCD of your camera showing the film simulation, but the camera, but the picture that it takes will just be a RAW picture. It won't have changed it at all. If you're doing a JPEG, it will.
Unfortunately, Fuji does not that way. If you shoot with a film simulation in a Fuji, it converts it to a JPEG, period. There is no RAW file.
Well, there you go. Well, yeah.
Okay, so what you have to do is, that's why what I do is I just shoot RAW and then I use film simulations to convert it.
Okay.
After
Yeah,
the fact.
yeah, I was getting some funky results there for a second.
Now it's the film simulations are cool, and I mean, we watched that one video with the guy that had all the different settings, because you can change them all. You can change how the settings inside your camera so that you shoot different types of simulations or different types of way where you can do vivid pictures or standard pictures, and you just by changing the buttons you can move around. So unfortunately, because they're JPEG, I figured it's easier for me to shoot the picture in RAW, convert the picture after I've done processed it to make it look the way I want it. Then I'd convert it to black and white, and then I edit the black and whites to make it the way I want it.
Yeah, I ran into that problem, and I thought I was doing something wrong. So it just irked the hell out of me that, like, okay, well, film simulation is useless now to me because
Well, you
basically, yeah.
You could shoot in RAW and JPEG, RAW plus JPEG. In which case, your JPEG will have your film simulation, and the RAW will not.
And the RAW would still be there, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha. All right,
Which is
so-
a good way in case you screw up your picture.
Right. Yeah. Question answered. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but that requires you to shoot both RAW and JPEG.
Yeah, unfortunately, but yeah.
Okay, that means you both your cards are being used for something or other, which is fine. But I mean, the only reason I do it is because I have never used up my main card. I have one card and I have another card. So instead of using the second one as an overflow or as a backup, I just use it as a JPEG.
Okay.
When I went to New Zealand, what I did was I put a 64 gig in my main slot, but I put a 200 and whatever the heck it is card in my secondary slot. So the other day when my hard drive crashed, I realized that all my New Zealand pictures were on that drive.
Oh.
But the thing that's cool is the fact that I remembered, I still got that 200 and some odd card sitting in there with all the pictures on it. All I got to do is reload it. I get all my pictures back. What I lose is I lose all my processes, but that's okay. I can reprocess.
Okay.
It's not the drive did not crash. The drive is running very, very slow. To transfer a 41 gig file takes about an hour and a half.
Whoa. So,
okay, and when you're looking at my pictures, each one of them, okay, is about 41 meg each.
Gee, you probably need a new computer, don't you?
Pretty much. I just bought a new portable drive, solid state one.
That's not a computer.
No, I understand that. My computer's fine,
Oh, really?
I mean, it's old, but I mean, it works good. Everything runs on it until it crashes. I just put a new drive in. I just put more memory in it. Had it cleaned. It's good to go. It's everything that connects to it. That's the problem.
Okay, when you were talking about the film
No.
simulations,
Because it's
can you
not
hear me,
working.
John?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sure. Go ahead.
When
Ernie.
when you were talking about the film simulations, you had said, you know, you could do Vivid and everything else. Also, there are film simulations for the old film, actual film, you know, like
Yeah.
Pro-V,
Oh yeah.
Tri-X.
I got tons of those in my Lightroom right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
there's a
also
bunch,
got
there's
on
ton of them in Lightroom. There's tons of those in Lightroom, and Lightroom already has all the different film simulations. But if you
Right.
want all of them, go get Alien Skin Exposure. Alien Skin Exposure has, like, I don't know, every known film known to man all the way back to when it was first created. But you can even do wet plates in it. So it's
Yeah,
kind of
mine-
cool. But that's the only thing I use it for is black and white conversions.
Gotcha.
Cool. Who's still shooting a full frame here, may I ask?
Full frame digital?
Full frame, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I've got a.
I know,
APS-C.
Peter, you're Sony. Steve,
Right.
you're Canon. Alan, what are you?
Nikon.
Nikon. Okay, cool. Oh, all right. I'm just curious. That's all.
Only
I mean,
because I'm
I
financially
use-
stuck with Nikon.
Yeah.
But I use all of
It's a tough
my
one, isn't
Micro
it?
Four Thirds frame, Robert. I
Oh.
use every bit of my Micro Four Thirds frame every
Cool.
time.
Cool, Eric.
Well, I've got an APS-C and a full frame, so I kind of, depending on what I'm shooting, I'll choose which one I want to use.
Gotcha. Question: does anybody shoot medium format?
Not anymore.
Not
No,
anymore?
but if you're willing to buy me one, I'll try it.
Yeah, really.
Same here. Buy me one too.
All right.
I think the club needs to buy us all.
Best
Yeah,
thing
Fuji's is out there. It's only $5,000. Come on.
Yeah, really. That's the bloods.
I've only got a Hasselblad 500 CM. That's it.
I still want to go back to. I want to go back to medium format film. So, but I get dirty looks when I mention film. When my wife looks at me.
Let me see. Where is she? Is she giving you a dirty look right now? I don't see her. You're in the clear, John.
No, she's not here.
That's
She's
right.
sitting next to me right now.
You're
Okay,
good.
all in favor? All in favor for John getting the medium format film? Aye.
Aye.
She is. There she is.
Okay.
It's her overriding vote. Her
All right.
vote overrides all.
Or as Caesar would say, there you go. It's not.
Well, hey, we were talking the other day what we're going to do with all this money we got sitting in the club account. So therefore, now we know.
Well, now I mean, now that you brought it up, John, that's a great point. I mean, look, we've got what, $7,000 the club has, and maybe 20 members at this point.
Mhm.
I mean, I really think we should start giving away prizes and door prizes, and we should start. It's going to cost us $1,000 for a new computer and $1,000 for a TV. What else do we need the money for? Right?
Yep.
I say we start giving it away.
Well, by maintaining a certain balance, the bank doesn't charge us any interest.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you're
Yeah,
going
I
to
don't
keep a
know how
couple
much-
thousand in there anyway, right?
I don't.
sorry,
I have
what?
no idea. I have to talk to the treasurer and find out exactly how much money we got.
Well, but we know that it's.
I know
it's
I know it's a lot. So
It's $6,000 or $7,000. Now, I mean,
It was
don't you think it's a
7,000.
good?
Yeah, it's always averaged around 7,000, at least when I was treasurer.
Yeah.
It was up
So
and
don't you
down.
think we could start doing door prizes and prizes for photography and whatever to give it away? What are we going to do with it?
Good idea.
Like training stuff, like buy a
Once
lighting
we
set
start
you can do
meeting in
training
person,
with.
I think that would be great, but we can meet and decide what kind of prizes that would entail,
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. So.
Well, most, I think what you're talking about prizes, I would say probably just gift cards to go get printing done or something like that, but.
Okay. But it's always cool to have something tangible in your hand, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it
Well,
works.
I mean,
I mean, people love going over to the Dominion where they give, you know, a ticket when you come in. You get a door prize, and then they give away 2 or 3 prizes at the end of the thing, and then they give away prints when you, you know, whoever wins the competition. And you can see people really go crazy with the little tickets there and stuff, and we don't do any of that stuff.
Maybe we should start.
Sounds like bingo night.
Yeah, we don't charge $10 a pop either, Peter.
No, but we do charge $45, $60 a year, depending on whether it's a member or not,
It's
right?
30, right? It's 30.
No, it's 30, but it's 30 when you figure that if it's 2 people, then it's 45.
It's 40, yeah, it's really not
All right,
expensive.
so it's just kind of, I know that's what I paid this year, so, and it's just, we still got $7,000. We're still going to make, we're going to make a couple $100 every year on membership dues.
Yeah.
Because we don't spend.
So whether we give away, you know, if we give, when we give away annual awards, generally we go out and we get door prizes from different people.
From somebody else, right.
Last year we didn't because the ball got dropped, but you know, we go get stuff, and we can go get, you know, James to donate a $100 gift card for something for an annual award. Why can't we give away a $25 gift card? You know, once a month.
Agreed. You know, just
So-
like you said, like a prize gift, like you said, the drawing. That way, nobody feels pressured. Like, oh shit, I've got to really perform well on a contest to win some kind of.
Oh, you wouldn't want people trying really hard to win, would you?
Try really hard now.
That's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
We try to beat you and Jack as it is.
I'll tell you what, I'll drop out of the contest if we start dispersing money. I won't even compete anymore.
No.
We need you to set the bar.
Let's see your photos, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, no, but really, I mean, seriously, we've got an awful lot of money, and the club is, at this point, it's on its last legs. Well, how many members have we got?
Not many.
I don't know. Not
many.
About 15.
So what are we going to do when it disbands? Are we going to divide 15 into 6,000? Give everybody $400?
No, it goes to the supreme leader. Are you kidding me?
One big hell of a party.
Yeah, I mean, let's have now there's an idea. Let's have a party.
Then we'll all be killing Robert on the steps.
Or not that you could set up some sort of road trip to go to a destination, and that money can offset the cost for all
I
the
think
members
that's
that
a
wanna
great
go.
idea.
That's
I
another
love
good
that
idea.
idea, Alan. I would much rather have a field trip that everybody would have access to. I think that's a great idea.
That'd be better.
No, that's that, and we do that in one of my other clubs. We haven't done one now for a year or two, but we go places. Last year we went to Colorado. The year before that we went to Yosemite. The year before that we went to Big Bend. We've been up to Caddo Lake, and this is a group of about 9 or 10 of us. And let me tell you, you spend 3 or 4 days with a group of photographers. It's a lot of fun. You're hanging out with people who are like-minded, and you'd be surprised when you get 10 people taking the picture of the same thing. You get 10 different pictures. So I think a field trip would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to definitely look into and possibly plan, for a year in advance or something, so everybody can get their.
Yeah, it's going
dates
to take at least a
done.
year in advance. We always start a year in advance.
Well, particularly if we could do something that wouldn't be too difficult. I mean, we wouldn't have to necessarily go 3 states away. We could do something that would be a little less far, so that those who are a little more restricted could still be able to go too. There's just lots of options.
Well, I mean, yeah, we did one trip. We just did nothing. We went to Austin.
Yeah.
We spent
yeah,
3 days in Austin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close to
You
whatever.
go to Dallas. You go to Houston.
Mhm.
You go to Big Bend. You go to
State.
what's the markets up
Go
there.
to Utah. You go to
So
Zion.
it's Zion. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Wow. Yeah.
All right.
So Supreme Leader, we need a committee.
All right. Whenever we start to get comfortable, as far as getting together in person, and
And we got to get it done before he leaves, because this is, he's not going to be Supreme Leader much longer.
I'll be gone. So sayonara.
We'll just redraft you.
And then I'll be vetoed once I leave. Damn it.
We'll just draft you again.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
All
I'm
in
just being
favor?
vice president for at least another year. So that means it can't be me.
I see Steve.
Of course, I don't know. You started out as a vice president, and then that became the stucky
That's how
for
we,
president.
yeah, that's how we ended up where he's at.
I see Steve when I say Supreme Leader, his eyes light up. So I think he's got his eye on it.
It wasn't my eyes, Robert.
Okay.
It must be these glasses reflecting the light.
It's possible. It's possible. But yeah, they are great ideas. I think we should do something, considering how small of a group we've become as far as participants. I think it would be a great getaway for all of us. And it's like, I think we really connect well as photographers, as friends, and I think it would really be a good bonding moment as well.
Well, you can, it's the thing of it is that I don't know how many members we actually have paid right now. I think it's about 15. But you're looking at the core right here.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is it.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that submit for competition is right here. There's a
And that
couple
was my
others.
point with the prizes, is maybe more people would submit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some last couple of times. We've had pretty good turnouts, but I mean, it's. I mean, I'm probably not going to be doing much more in nature, so I don't know, because I haven't been out so much.
That's my problem. I haven't really been out. So
Who has?
Yes.
I was saying who has been out.
I mean, it's great to do the trip and to think about doing that, but it's better to think about a way to get people to actually come to the club.
Yes.
If you don't have people come to the club, you have nothing.
Yeah.
People aren't going to just join the club because we're going to go to Utah, or we're going to go
no.
get a club,
Maybe-
and you get a lot of people. And
Maybe-
then,
The trip thing is not an incentive to get more people in the
no,
club.
it's
kind
not.
of
It's going to be the 10 of us are going to go.
It's just an idea for,
Reward for the
even if
people
it's
who
just
stay.
5 or 6 of us right here to go and do something, or if it's
Well,
all
I
of
mean,
us.
we could go to downtown San Antonio and at least pay for
Yeah.
people to go to dinner, and go on the Riverwalk.
And with
Something.
the money aside, I mean, really trying to get people nowadays is you have to show activity. If you're not doing stuff, it's not enticing, especially to the younger generation that wants to go out and do stuff and shoot
Right.
and all that.
Yeah.
No, we've been kicking around that kind of thing for a while now. The problem of it is to get somebody to lead a group to do that.
You don't even
It's
need
one
it.
of
You
these
could
things.
just have a
We've
Facebook
been
event made.
we've been kicking around here the last day or so between Trish and Charles and I about going to the painted churches.
It could just be somebody
Yeah,
posts
we
up
did
like,
that
"Hey, I'm
2
going to go
years
shoot
ago.
this," and
Yeah.
somebody may want to join along, and you can actually create anybody can create the event probably in the group.
Well, and
Facebook.
that's the problem right now. I don't want to venture out and go. I mean, I go out and do shooting, but I don't want to go out with a lot of people. Go out where there are a lot of people.
Right. I mean, the climate right now, that's understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've got both ways. You've got Capture San Antonio, which does pretty much what you're talking about,
Great.
and then you've got the Dominion, which brings people in, which gets a good turnout every month. And basically, they only do one thing a year, right?
Yeah.
But they still get people to come, young people to come every month to the event. Well, they have nice education, they have a nice competition, they have door prizes, you know, and people seem to be really engaged.
If
right
you
there.
look at Photo SA, I've been a member of Photo SA since 2006. And there are over 240 people that are members. And at the most, they get about 20 to show up at meetings.
Well, and I was talking to Jim Landers about that. I actually went and spent some time with him a handful of months ago, just to kind of talk about how they've grown that club. And one of the big reasons they're so able to kind of keep things interesting is Jim has been networking in this town for a very, very long time. He knows everybody and everything. And so he's been able to connect with lots of other people that can do this thing or that thing or whatever. So it's not a handful, 2 or 3 people or whatever trying to do everything. He has access to a number of different people who can present something for Education Night or whatever. He just knows everybody. And that's been super helpful for them.
Well, he has geared a lot of his stuff now to more into the professional side of it.
Oh yeah, how to sell your business.
So it's, to me, it's not interesting because I not want to become a professional photographer. I don't want to be a I don't want to be a wedding photographer. I don't want to be a portrait photographer.
Yeah.
I just like being the photographer that I am. I like the shots I do. And I don't have no reason to be going to. I've gone to a couple of meetings because I wanted to hear what they were talking about. And that's it. I don't go out there hardly at all anymore. I used to go every week. Every time. I don't go anymore. One, it's a pain in the butt to get out there. Now that the traffic is dying down, it's not too bad. But you know, when I lived on the north side of town, it would take me an hour and a half to get to a meeting.
That's crazy.
And I got tired of going. So, and I like Jim. I've known Jim for a long time. I mean, he was the San Antonio photographer for like 4 years.
Yeah.
He's got access to people. He's got access to different things that people can get involved with. But we don't have anything like that. As old as the club this is, I'm very surprised that there isn't anybody that's a member of this club who is not a Jim Landers type photographer.
Well, there might have been some time ago, but I mean, there hasn't been since I've been around. There may have been some time in its history that there were people like that. But
no, yeah, probably was. I mean, I met a guy online whose father was a member back in the 50s and 60s, I guess, whatever the club name was back in those days. Who was a professional photographer. That's what he did. So, and a lot of people were professional photographers that were in this club. Now we're all amateurs. I mean, except for, you know, the ones that win all the time. They're more professionals. I mean, Jack's the only one I know that's got a store. He sells more stuff than anybody, I guess.
No. I can say Jack is published.
One of my wife's teacher friends, because her husband's birthday is coming up. So I sold her a bear picture that I already had on my wall. My wife says, give her a discount. I did. And I thought, well, you know, I'll collect the sales tax. And my wife says, don't make her pay the sales tax. Like, okay.
Damn.
That's how I'm doing.
See, that makes you a professional right there. You charge.
Yeah.
I don't have people knocking on my door wanting me to take their pictures.
Away. I start giving all my inventory away to anybody that wants it. That's how I feel at this point.
Yeah.
I've been saving up my money and putting all the stuff. I sold a bunch of equipment. I put it all in a little cubby hole back there so I wouldn't spend it. I gave it to the wife yesterday because my hard drive crashed and I need another one. So
I do have one other question, and it regards printing, if I may ask. In order to get a decent print on your own, do you guys compensate for the fact, like, okay, that the image is backlit on your computer prior to printing? Do you lighten that? Or it's just the calibration and you just go with it?
There's a couple of different schools of thought. I will tell you what I do. I went to a printing class, and one of the things that they told me was that because the computer is backlit, everything is much prettier on the computer, and when you send it to the printer, why is it so dark? That's because it's backlit. So when you calibrate your monitor to go with your printer, it will take your monitor and it tones it down. So what I have done is I went into my brightness control on my monitor and I lowered it to 75%. Which what that does is that means my picture is darker on my computer. So I adjust it up a little higher and I make it a little bit brighter to make it show up better. And when I print it, I get a better print.
Okay. I'm following.
But I don't know, that's just.
I kind of do the opposite. I like my computer screen bright, so I leave it that way. I know my print is going to be darker, so I usually wind up printing it a couple times, which I don't mind anyway, because there's always a flaw in it. There's always something I didn't see when I printed, So I adjust it that way, to make it darker, to compensate for the print that looks bad. It's just kind of the opposite way of doing it. I've tried calibrating my monitors, and it's okay. It works great, but in general, I don't really like working that way. I prefer my monitor brighter.
What I found, and I wanted to see what you guys would say. I have my image edited, and then I was just by looking up certain people on YouTube. It says to lighten anywhere from 25 to 30 on the exposure scale, and to print. And it's close, as I can say, but I was just wondering, was there a better way? So that's why
there's
question.
There's a lot of things with the whole printing thing, and one reason why I got away from printing the stuff myself is, you'll have a printer profile, but then you could set up profiles for different substrates. For instance, when I print my old BAMC photo on metallic, I usually don't have to change anything when going from the digital to the print. However, if I'm printing, because I printed the same image on slate flattened the image. It lost saturation and contrast. So then I have to create an export, and you can have it run a certain thing on export that for a certain substrate if you want to set up one, and then you'll have a file that's set up specifically to be printed on that certain substrate. Now that's a lot of extra work. You have to understand the substrate, a lot of trial and error, and that's if you really want to nitpick on how that final product print's going to come out.
Okay. No, good.
It's because what I did was I go in and I downloaded the paper profiles from the manufacturer. And then I now have that on my printer so I can select the paper profile that I want.
Right.
And
if you do the soft proofing thing,
you do soft proofing.
You'll be able to see if you're using a matte paper, which is particularly difficult because you need to over sharpen it, need to over saturate it, and still I do exactly the same thing. Even with the soft proofing thing, I'll print the print and I'll look at it and I'll go, I wish it was brighter. I wish it was more saturated. I wish I had sharpened it, and then I do that and I print it again. And I know that's a wasteful thing to do, but frankly, I really enjoy printing. I really like the whole process of getting exactly what I want, and I don't mind throwing away prints.
There you go.
Well, my problem is if I want to print, if I send it out to a printer to get something printed specifically, and I want it printed on, I have a hard time because, well, what do you want it printed on? I have no clue. What's it gonna look like? If I can't talk to them and find out, I mean, what I've done is I go up and I go see James at Finer Works and I say, here's my picture. What kind of paper you think it should go on? He generally picks a good paper for it and it comes out okay. But if I send it off to somebody else to get it printed, I have to go through the same process. I have no idea what their paper looks like.
Right.
Another fun thing to do is to get the sample pack. You know, if you go to like Red River and you buy that sample pack, it is so much fun to print that 8x10 print to be able to see, wow, I had no idea that this art paper looked like this or whatever. And if you find something you really love, then you just buy the 13x19. You buy the bigger stuff and print it on there.
Yeah, I really dig the etching paper, man, and I buy it from Red River. That's one of my favorite etching paper. Fantastic.
It's incredible paper. Yeah.
It is. It is. It's amazing. I know, Trish, you're like a fan of the metallics, right?
Depends on the image, but yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And I just bought some metallic 8x10 and metallic 13x19. So I do my test print on because it's more expensive paper. So I do my test on the 8x10 or and when I get it out.
From Red River?
From Red River, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Well, I have a question. Is I bought some 12x12 because I like printing 12x12s.
Ooh.
Paper. All right. But my printer doesn't take 12x12 paper.
Well, you just change the profile.
There's no profile for 12x12.
You make it up. You write it in.
I tried to make it up and it rejects it every freaking time.
Which printer?
On the custom size, it does that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, I had to go in on that Canon and put in a custom size for just 11x14. It was not.
Well, when I went into it, I did it 11x14. That's the way I did 11x14. And now when I go back into my sizing chart, there's an 11x14 at the very bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
But it won't take it will not take the 12x12 for some reason.
You must have done something wrong. I change my printers paper all the time. I print 6x9 when I print my my greeting cards, you know, and you know, I have a bunch of different profiles in there, different sizes, and yeah, I just load them right in there and it prints perfect. So.
I'll try it again because I wanted to print. I print a lot of my black and whites on metallic. And in fact, I print all my black and whites on metallic. And I do a lot of them in 12x12. And then I put a special frame around them, mat around them. But for some reason, every time I try to put a 12x12 in there, it kicks it out.
You might have not changed your paper size. You might have changed the canvas size, but not the paper size.
I go in there and did custom size. So I don't know.
We're gonna go, guys.
I'll play with it again. I need to start printing some more because I can't wait till we go back to print. So my printer's been sitting idle and I guess I'm gonna have to go through and change all my inks out right
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's about time, guys.
Night.
Yeah.
See you later.
Good night, Steve.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See you
Take care of
guys in 2
yourself.
weeks.
All righty.
I don't want to have to go through and edit the video again. After we cut off the last time, Peter and I sat here for what, another hour and a half talking?
Yeah, fortunately, John, thank you very much for making it all dark and not posting it on the web. But you know there's about 10 minutes of dark on the end of that video.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah. And it was
Well,
when John and I were talking, and we were talking
tried
about
to,
all
we
you
were
guys.
I had to cut it off, and I figured people, you know, and I don't want people to hear what we're talking about. We're talking about you people. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I tried to trim it, and I'm using this new software, and I go, you used to be able to just drag it over and then do the cut thing and cut it right here. And now I have to trim it. So I did the trim, but for some reason it left it at the end, and I don't know why. So I'm doing some experimenting with the different things and then creating my own videos and putting them on my page, and then seeing how that come out like. But I've got to play more with that software.
I went through through the video and kind of watched the highlights again, because it was like 2 hours or 2.5 hours long, and I just kind of skimmed along, and I was particularly taken by Jack's comments about the professional photographers, how he thought that they weren't the perfect photograph, they weren't in perfect focus, they weren't in perfect thing. And one of my favorite movies, the way I met my wife, was that she said that it was her favorite movie too, when we met many years ago, was a movie called The Man and a Woman, back from the 60s. And it's in French, it's in black and white and in color. And we just rented it again and watched it. And it was amazing how bad the photography was, and yet how great it was. Yeah, you know what I mean? It didn't follow any of the rules
It was the
photography. And yet it wasn't even the content. The visuals are so compelling in the way that this artist was able to create these scenes, and yet it wasn't on the thirds, it wasn't on the, you know, it was just, it was out of focus here. It was, and it really followed what Jack's point was, that, you know, a real artist is something really interesting to follow. Remember when he said that? And I got that by watching the video again.
I can remember from years ago when we had, I can't think of the name of it now. It was a big organization of professional photographers. But a picture was no good if it was not completely sharp from corner to corner. There was none of this selective focus. It had to be sharp from corner to corner to be accepted.
Oh, no.
So no real change in depth of field. There was no idea that you might have a background that was less in focus than, so no shallow depth of field stuff at all.
Nothing.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm trying to, I'm talking about like 30 years ago.
Well, I'm taking an online course right now through the Museum of Modern Art, and they talk about the old time photographers, of what they used to do, and so they pull up all these famous people, and they've got them. I mean, they got these prints. They're on mat. They're laid in drawers. They've got clear vellum over the top of it. Then they've got some sort of cloth cover over the top of that, and they pull all these things back to show off these fancy prints taken that was back in the 1800s and the early 1900s, and all the way up to. I was watching one on Ansel Adams here the other day. And you start looking at these pictures and you're going, these are very famous photographers. And you look at their pictures and you're going, God, that thing is really blurry. They're not sharp.
Or really dark.
They're dark, and they don't bring them out. And it's like when you start looking at shadows and stuff, it's sharp edge shadows and lines. Look at the composition of this. And I'm going, what composition? I don't understand it. So I guess I need to get more and more into the past work of modern photographers or old photographers. But I mean,
even now, portraiture, you know, it's acceptable to even like cut the head at some point, you know. It isn't taboo anymore. It's acceptable. So it's just things change over time, and then again, they loop around to the old, you know. So just like
they went from formal portraiture to environmental portraiture.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
And which made it a lot easier for the photographer.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have a studio set up. You could just say where you want to go, and I'll go out there and meet you.
There you go. So, hey. So who still does portraiture? All right, Alan.
Alan does?
I do periodically.
Yeah. Is that you, Eric?
Yes, that was me.
Yeah.
You do it.
That's something I would love to learn a little bit about.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Shooting people is one of my least favorite things to do, at least in the photographic sense. I don't know. I might enjoy the other kind of shooting people. I don't know. Depends on my day. But people demand something when you photograph them, almost always, even if they don't tell you they do. So I've always kind of shied away from it. But I'd really like to learn the mechanics of it.
What
I'm with you, Trish. I don't like doing it, but I like learning about it.
Yeah. Yeah, people they have expectations. And
it's horrible. Have you shot a wedding before?
Actually, yes, as a friend. What I have done generally is said, I will do these for you, but my friendship is most important. So if these are like something that are just super, super important, that you're looking for really perfect stuff, then you need to find somebody else, because my friendship is most important. It's not what I do. I don't shoot weddings,
Right.
So, and I have limited equipment for something like that. So, yes, I have, but it's incredibly stressful.
It's very stressful, isn't it?
Yeah.
The last people that wanted me to do it, I said, there's a reason why people charge $5,000 and $10,000 to shoot your wedding.
Yeah.
There's a reason. It's not what, just because I'm a good photographer, they think, oh, you're going to do a great job shooting my wedding. No.
Oh, yeah.
I had somebody say to me, you're a wonderful photographer. How come you never take pictures of my kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like kids. I don't like shooting pictures of kids, right?
It's like thinking that because you can play softball, you can play baseball. They're the same animal, not. They're different. Yeah, they're real. Well, and the other thing about, when I was in high school, I had a friend who used to shoot weddings, and I would go and assist him. And like I said, I wasn't even responsible. I was haul gear, hand him stuff, pack stuff up, that kind of thing. And it was still insanely stressful. And that was back in the days of 35mm film. And boy, you want to talk about stressful.
Oh, Jesus.
If you had a problem, or if the lab had an issue and one of your rolls of film got caught up in the processing vat or whatever, it was just, this was one day you can't redo, and you can't tell in the middle of all of it that it's all gone, south. And so it was just incredibly, incredibly stressful. And I just thought, why do people want to do this? I don't know.
I've done several as a second shooter, and it made me never want to do one ever.
Yeah.
Not only that, I'd have to schedule 6 months, 8 months out, and I don't know if Uncle Sam in 2 months is going to send me down to South America for a year. So that wouldn't work out either. But yeah, it's just, because not only that is depending if there is no wedding coordinator, the photographer tends to become that coordinator, directing people, the times where people at when.
Pushing people back like this to get them out of your way so that you can get the shot.
Then the relatives, can you shoot that? Can you, it's.
Yeah, or hold on, I've got my iPhone. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Well, it's one of the reasons why I don't do weddings anymore. I mean, I did weddings for a long time. And I got tired of hassling with people. And it's kind of, Alan is right. If without a wedding coordinator, it's very hard to control these people, and nowadays I can see with everybody with their cell phones and everything wanting to take pictures of the bride and the groom and the families and all that getting in the way. Meanwhile, you're trying to take, the official pictures. And I got in so many arguments, and I got in an argument with one mother because she didn't like my pictures and she refused to pay me. And I ended up taking her to court, and I ended up getting paid, and they never got their pictures. And I quit after that. I got tired of it. I said, no, never again.
Yeah.
So,
I do.
That was in film. That wasn't digital. That's film.
Yeah.
I can remember.
And I developed my own pictures, and I printed my own pictures. So that is, it wasn't easy back in the day.
No.
Yeah. I can remember years ago, I can't remember whether it was a family member or what, that wanted me to shoot a wedding. And I said, no. I said, but if you really want pictures, buy these little point and shoots, put them on each table.
Yeah.
And have them shoot. And they'll get the pictures that they want, and you'll get the pictures you want. May not be the greatest pictures, but they'll be the pictures that you will remember.
And you know how stupid I was?
do the shoot, and I'm going to shoot what I want to shoot, not what you want. So I never got into the business.
I did the same thing, only
Yeah.
I went around at the wedding with my little portable hard drive and got everybody's SD cards and micro thing and put them in there and got all of their pictures, like 3,000 pictures, and went through and color corrected them and cropped them and fixed them up and present, because everybody has a different kind of a picture at a different stage in there, and they're all meaningful to the bride and
Right.
the groom. And so I went through, it was astronomical amount of work to do it.
Well, I can imagine, because they're just a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing, right? I mean, they're just pointing and shooting and, yeah.
But if you're good at post-processing, you can fix up a
3,000
photograph.
images. I mean,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
so.
Yeah.
It's much more fun to be a second shooter, because you want those unposed shots that are timeless pieces. I much more prefer that than being the primary shooter.
Well, you don't have the looming stress of it's on your shoulders. you know?
Right.
Because a lot of times I'll go, if it's a family member that is having the wedding, I'll say, no, I don't want to do it. But I'll take my camera anyway, and I'll just capture stuff that I see. I don't worry about getting all the shots, but I'll have my camera with me, and I'll take, probably 200 pictures just of different things I'm seeing in different angles. And then I give them to them because that's my gift to them. And, but the stress isn't there.
Right.
But you're right. You become that wedding coordinator when there's not one there. I learned a long time ago, I took on a wedding that I wasn't prepared for. And the couple says, okay, anyone here in the church that wants to come up and have pictures with us, form a line over here and come stand with us. And so 200 people got in line to take pictures with the bride and groom. That was the end for me.
And so you learned quickly how to pose groups.
That's awful.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we're going to
so-
put 100 of you in shot A and 100 of you in shot B, and we're done.
Oh, no. Individuals
No,
with,
no.
yeah. So
And
it was
meanwhile,
nuts.
the rest of the people are at the reception hall starving, right? I mean, that's usually how it
No,
works.
because it was the entire church.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, the formals are crazy, especially after the church ceremony. And if you don't have a coordinator, you're like grandparents of the groom or grandparents of the bride, and you have
And
to
somebody's
be out.
looking for them, right? I mean,
Yes,
Gotta
but
have a handler.
I hate that. I hate that. So
Kim has been my handler when I've done weddings. And she goes around and corrals them and says, okay, now we need one with the father and the mother. Now we need one with the, and all I have to do is shoot a picture.
It's a nightmare. Yeah.
Although I will say about this whole Corona thing, because they only limited 10 people in the church at a time. I had a friend of mine that did a wedding recently. So all he had to deal with was the bride and groom, mom and dad for both sides, one bridesmaid, and the best man. That was it for the wedding party.
Wow.
So he was done in 30 minutes with
It's
all
like
the
a dream.
portraits.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And most churches give you, like, especially during the summer, they give you 30, 45 minutes, and you're out the door because the
Yeah,
next wedding
because
is
they
up.
got the next group, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you've got to be like, all right, no coordinator, get over here, parents, grandparents. It's like, and you turn out to being like the jerk, because you have to demand.
That sounds like Vegas. You sure you weren't in Vegas? The wedding chapel?
Yeah, depends on
Next
the building
person
you're
up.
getting married in.
But it is fun. I find it challenging. I don't do many anymore, so Oh wow. But I know Ken and Tammy still do, I think. So and I don't think they're here, are they?
No, they took off.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So Trish, what is it about shooting people that you're finding difficult?
Well, the fact that they're human beings and they have their own mind about what they want. I mean, that's the thing. You're laughing at me, Robert, but you know it's true, right? When I take a photograph of a flower, it's not expecting anything from me. When I take a photograph of a vista or of anything really, or even a street scene, nobody has any expectation from me. And because I'm a beginner as a photographer, that's part of it. I don't want a lot of demand. And secondly, most of my photography is for me. I want to be pleased with it. I don't really give a hoot if anybody else is pleased with it. And so when I do portraits, do I think it's great if somebody likes them? Sure. But most people, when they want pictures done of themselves or their own event, they have things in their mind. They're often not very clear about expressing it. And then so there's always this dynamic that goes on that I would just, and maybe it's because I'm getting old and I don't care, but I don't, you know, I don't want to deal with all the nonsense. You know, I would just as soon, we're friends and we're going to leave it there and none of this stuff's going to be between us. It's why I don't lend money that I don't need, you know, that I have to have. It's not worth all the bad blood for me. So yeah, people have expectations, and you know, spiders and dogs and flowers don't. So,
and a lot of women, you know, have that preconception of what they want, but it's that selfie that's way up high, aimed way up high, and your head is way up. You know, it doesn't work that way when you're doing formals for a wedding. You know, so. I don't know. I remember. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I interrupted you.
First wedding I did. I used to shoot model shots, headshots, whatever. Anyway, first wedding I did. You know, I like to know what I'm dealing with. So it's like, okay, I look at the face. You look at the eyes. Okay, which eye is smaller than the other? Has to be in front. You know, and, towards the lens. First wedding, really bad etiquette by me. I'm like, hey. Your nose isn't perfect, you know, which was really stupid of me at the time. So I gave her a conscience. So the whole time she's like, how does my nose look? How does my nose look? So I felt really bad, but yeah, that was a rookie mistake. Right? And I get it. It is hard, but I think one of the keys is getting somebody to be comfortable around you, and you got to do it quickly. And that would lead to a better shoot. But like I said, it has to be done really quick.
And that's why I love
a lot of Nikon interviews lately, and the thing you learn most about shooting people is the relationship is the most important factor.
Exactly.
And these do this, and they're professionals. They know in a short period of time how to develop a comfortable relationship and get some good shots. If you can't do that, or you're uncomfortable doing that, you have trouble. That's why it's important to shoot pictures of yourself as well. Then you get a feel for, gee, what is it like to be, you know, a camera in your face?
Mm-hmm.
See, that doesn't bother me. Having a camera in my face doesn't bother me at all. When I was young, it bothered me a lot. It doesn't bother me at all. So for me, that's not the discomfort. I think people have, like I said, they have things in their mind. They're not always very clear about communicating them. And so there's just an expectation. I mean, what bride is not hoping, no matter who she is and what she looks like, is not expecting to come across like a princess in her bridal portraits. That's all there is to it. That's what she's expecting, whether that's particularly realistic or not. So, yeah, I just don't go there.
And some people are really good at it. Some people really love doing it, and those are the people that should do it. And just leave me the hell alone. Don't ask me to do it.
That's me.
I don't want to do it.
Although I do want to learn about lighting, and I wouldn't mind learning a little bit about some casual portraiture, you know, but I want to do that on my terms, so I can say, hey, can I photograph you? That kind of thing, instead of somebody coming to me and saying, I've got these expectations in my mind, and this is really how I hope they look. And
that's why I love festivals, because there's tons of people out there shooting in their outfits, whatever. So they're getting pictures and stuff. There's no, I haven't had anybody that I've photographed at a festival have tried to set any expectations, whatever. I shoot, I talk, and the relationship is a big thing. I don't know if you saw my presentation that I gave to GSAC a while back.
I did. Robert and I went over and saw that.
Yeah. So like my biggest thing is like, okay, I have a new friend, and I've trained my mindset that these aren't just strangers. These are just friends I haven't met yet. And that's made it, a lot better as far as talking with people. And you just got to do it to get over, the uncomfortable feelings. Eventually it just becomes second nature. You can go at it at ease. There's no expectations from them. You can, send them the photo or not send them the photo. If you hate it, don't do anything with it.
Right.
That's why I love festivals.
Yeah, or you can go to a festival, lurk around the corner with a telephoto lens, and get the shots without having to engage with the people. I kind of like doing that.
I think I got a couple of
Well,
those.
once we had an agreement with a client, I would always insist on having a meeting a week or two before the shoot. That way, I understood their expectations and they realized what my vision was. And that way we could find a common ground as to what we're gonna try and accomplish, and that would usually mellow out. By the time we met on the day of the shoot, they were comfortable enough with me and I was comfortable with them. And, we could express what we needed, or what I could draw out what I wanted out of them as far as the look, the pose, so it helps to meet in advance, and to find out your expectations.
Yeah, expectation management is a big thing, because I had a portrait business for 6 years, and that was the biggest thing. Once you had your initial consultation, then you had like a follow-on. After that follow-on, because after your first one, there's questions usually they think of later, a day or two down the road. You have your second consultation, and then that kind of quelled, or whatever questions I did have, you could answer them and set them at ease. And then when everybody came in, there's just like, okay, we already know what we're going to do. There's like going to be no surprises. So it was nice, smooth going.
It's interesting because I took some grad photos just a week or two ago, and it was really a wonderful experience. It was somebody I knew pretty well. And we had talked about some expectations and kind of what I thought would be great and what she thought would be great. But I've also done like pregnancy photos for a couple that I love to death and I know really well, and just had no guidance from them at all, zero about what they were. I don't know, just whatever. It's like, what do I do with that, And so I did some things, but it was kind of interesting. What I thought was great, and like I said, even though I know these people, what I thought was great, they weren't real fond of. What they were real fond of, I thought was really unflattering. So part of that for me is, I guess, just that being able to get past what I think is going to be a great shoot, and really realizing this isn't about what I think is a great shoot, it's what they think is a great shoot. That was really hard for me, because like I said, what they really loved, I just thought were awful. And then the things that I saw would be just a little more appealing and attractive, just didn't do anything for them at all, And I felt like the photo shoot came across more like, their kid's sister with an Instamatic in her pocket. I mean, really, that's the stuff they loved. So I don't know. Anyway, back to spiders.
Yeah. I like it when they ask for something unique.
Me too.
And you have to gear it to their personalities. I did my first lesbian couple, right? And what I suggested and we wound up doing was going to the gay district, and I had them, we rented 2 scooters, and they have that rainbow crossing on the street, So I had them, it was early in the morning, so there was no traffic. So I had them on their scooters crossing, that rainbow colored street crossing painted on the street, and took photos of that. Took photos of them holding hands walking across the street on the rainbow colored crossing. So that was interesting. I don't know. It just conveyed who they are. And then of course we did the more intimate shots, more personal shots after that. But it's fun when they give you like carte blanche, you know. You can do whatever you want, and typically, and you always add a black and white in there. I always add black and white because it's a timeless shot.
Yeah, me too.
So, but yeah, I mean, I love being a little different, a little, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know.
And it
So,
shows
like-
your work is really good.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun.
So like some of the headshots I've been sharing or, posting recently in competition, those came from, I had to do our regular headshot for work, the standard, looking off into the distance or whatever one.
Yeah.
And then I told everybody, because we're going to Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Skype, and they want us to have a little picture on there, I said, let's have some fun. And so I'd gone out to Pinterest and grabbed a bunch of photos, guys and girls. And so what I do is, as we're just sitting there talking, because they gave me about 15 minutes for each person. So we'd knock out the one that we had to do. There was a standard pose, bang, we get that one. So I'd give them the iPad and I'd let them kind of go through that. And I said, let's have some fun. I said, I want you to pick a picture and we're going to try to go after that pose. And my job is to try to reverse engineer it. I've got one light and I've got to figure out how to do it. So it kind of made it fun for them and for me, because we did some really cool pictures with just one light. I've got a gray background. I had a black background and a white background that were just pop-ups that I could throw in the back. But let's see what we can do with one light. So it made it fun for them to kind of have some ideas by looking at the pictures in Pinterest. And then we did, 2 or 3 different pictures, and I gave it to them in black and white, and they loved them all. So that was kind of fun in how we approached it that way, to give a little bit of an idea for them to be looking at, because they'll be like, I don't know, you just tell me how to pose. No, let's find something that you would like. So that's kind of how I attacked that project. And I did 110, pictures of people for work last year. So that's how I did it. And like Jack, exactly like you said, it's about a relationship, and you only have a couple minutes to build that. And it was fun to build that little bit of relationship, because a lot of these were new people that haven't met me before. And once they found out I had been at this place for 31 years, they're like, oh, wow, you probably know, where some bodies are hidden and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, yeah, I mean, I know the whole history of this place, so anyway, that's how I kind of attacked getting some fun portraits with folks after the normal headshot was done.
Well, I am a fan of your work.
Yeah, me too. Well, and I like just even what you're saying. I've got one light. I've got to figure out how to make this happen. That is all knowledge I don't have. That's one of those things I really, really am anxious to learn. Okay, so what's some basic equipment I can have, because I don't want to invest a lot in lighting, and then something simple, easy, and then these are some things I can do with it. Because I really don't know. I mean, everything I shoot by and large is natural lighting.
Yeah, and I think Alan would agree with this. The easiest way to do this is one light, and it doesn't have to be a big 400-watt thing. It can be a speed light in a softbox, and it doesn't have to be the biggest softbox in the world. You just have to understand the inverse square law and some of those things and play with it. I mean, get an apple, send it on a table, and move the light around it, and see how the light affects that, what the shadows do and all that kind of stuff, just doing it there. Because I know Alan and I have talked about a lot of this stuff before.
And one of my most versatile lights is that guy right there.
Yeah.
And that's just a 32-inch. It folds like an umbrella, and it takes 2 speed lights you could fit in it. So if you do at the point need the power, you could put 2 heads in there to get that extra power, like if you wanted to do a sunset shot where the sun was in the background, you know, you could do that, you know, something like this guy right here, you know.
Yeah.
And that's just one light with the sun going down in the background, you know.
I remember we did a pretty good shoot with a set of two old Novatron lights with Jack and Peter.
We had a great time, huh?
Yeah, that was a fun time. We experimented with them. We had a great old time. Like I said, I still have those old Novatrons, and they still run. So.
The best portrait I ever took was of you at that thing. Yeah, right? It's still one of my favorite pictures.
Yeah.
Was it like on an education night or something?
No, at my house.
Yeah.
Really?
It was Jack, myself,
Denise.
Kim. Denise and
Kim.
Kim. Yeah, at Peter's house. So we just had some fun with the lighting, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. And let's hope we can gather soon and we can do it again. Even if it's not at a meeting, we can do something more intimate. It'll be fun. Of course, these are old lights. You guys have more current lights and maybe the speed light like Eric and Alan. I think you have other equipment.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know, like my heads, my studio heads are over 10 years old.
Wow.
You know, yeah, I can't do high speed sync. I can do a quasi way, and I can go over these. The ones I have are these old pro photos that 250 is the highest. Well, 200 is the highest. You try to go to 250, you start getting a little bit on the bottom. But there's ways that I was able to get it to 640. You kind of hacked it a little bit, but they're old lights, and you can still do a lot with just old lights.
Yeah. So hopefully, I'd love to do like an old Hollywood style shoot with all of us.
That'd be fun.
That would be
It would be
great.
fun.
So,
Black and white, the lighting, you know, exaggerated whatever looks or whatever, you know, that would be awesome. So
Get your lipstick out, boys.
I'll double up. So I was over at my mom's, you know, doing some stuff at my mom's, and it's funny. She's right on the flight line of the airport, where it's probably 300 feet from the top of her house to the bottom of the plane. So they're pretty close. But I was thinking, I said, we could set up a bunch of lawn chairs in Mom's front yard if we wanted to do airplane photos some evening.
That would be fun.
You know, so.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That's funny. But yeah, man, I mean, once we're all comfortable with gathering again, I think being an overweight guy, big guy, I think I am one of the hardest people to photograph, you know, and make it look flattering. So, you know, I would love to see you guys. I'll pose. If you guys think you can do something, pull some magic out, I'll be glad to pose for you guys, you know.
We'll make the magic happen.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
You could
I'm going to roll, fellas. It was really great tonight. Nice to see you all. Take care of yourselves.
Bye, Trish.
Good night, guys.
I'm going to be cut off here pretty soon, too.
All right. I say we call it a night, gentlemen. If anybody
Ernie's got something to say.
Yeah, Ernie's got something.
I was just going to interject that with the new speed lights that have really added tremendous. If you use one on your camera and one off your camera, you can really get some great portraiture. You don't need all the fancy boxes and reflectors and that. If you know how to set up command on one flash to trigger the off-camera flash, and it works.
Well, let me ask you a question, since I don't really know anything about lights. What about the constant LED lights? You know, leaving a light on all the time and not having to do a flash. Those lights seem so cheap.
They use those for modeling lights.
It depends on the light, from what I've found, because LEDs are really starting to get better and stronger. If obviously LEDs aren't to the power where they can stop action.
Right.
We're talking about portraiture and not action, actually. So, it depends. Yeah, there we go. Talk about action shot. But just from what I found, and Alan, you can jump in here too. What I found with the LEDs, they're getting better and getting stronger, but I haven't really been using them yet for portraiture stuff.
Well, for like a portrait where there is no action, you're not trying to stop anything.
Right. But it depends. I haven't played with them enough. I've got 2 LED light wands that do actually get pretty bright. But it's a matter of how am I going to diffuse it? Am I going to bounce it into a foam core board back on to the person and those type of things. So I just haven't gotten into the LEDs, but it's starting to, definitely come up.
So constant lights has always been the good place to start with, because you don't have to wait till it flashes and goes in the camera to kind of see how the light's working. So when you're learning on lighting, constants is a good place to start. And of course, video constants, you got to use it. But, as Eric was saying, depending on the power of the constant and how many mediums or whatever it finally comes to as a f-stop on the person, is it going to still retain enough light, or how bright do you have to make that light for it to get to the subject, to get what the settings you want on that subject, where usually you're not blinding, and it's not too much of an issue now with the LEDs, but with the old constant lights,
they were hot.
Hot, and it would cause the subject to sweat, and then the makeup starts to run. So with the flash, that's where it was just that burst, and the modeling light on it is just enough to see, and it's not overpowering with the heat on the subject. Or you have to crank the AC up because it's warming up. Like if you're doing 3-4 lights, it's warming up that whole room, and you're trying to avoid that subject from sweating at all.
But question, wouldn't the fact that the mirrorless, what you see is what you get at the instant, help with the constant lights now? Wouldn't that make it the process a little bit easier?
It would. It's the same as if you weren't looking at the back of the camera. You're still you see what the lights are. Yes, the back of the camera, the mirrorless, will show what the end result photo is based off of contrast and certain things that the camera will see different from your eye, because it doesn't have the dynamic range your eye has.
Right.
But yeah, similar concept.
Cool. Okay. All right.
So if I understand, you're saying they're just not there yet. The LED lights are not something.
There are some that are very powerful. They're expensive. It's for right now. It would be cheaper to go with the strobe if you want to stop the action than a LED constant light, because it's just the cost benefit ratio.
Then there's always the old school, which is tungsten lighting, but then you have the issue of them getting hot and sweating, and depending on how powerful you want them too.
350 watt thing.
Yeah. So anyway,
I think we just found our 2 speakers for our lighting education night.
Eric and Alan. All right.
Eric and Alan.
Yay.
I haven't done a lighting class in a long time.
We could do it on Zoom.
Yeah, we can do it on Zoom. I mean, the thing we did at Capture San Antonio was kind of cool. I mean, I learned a lot from that, but I know enough about it to probably set something up, because I did portraits for a while, and I used nothing but speed lights and umbrellas. I had 3 speed lights and umbrellas and backdrops and stuff, but I can do it that way. But I want to sit and actually do lighting. I learn a lot easier when I have somebody sitting on a stool in front of me, and I can take a light and move it around and see how the light affects the different shot, how I can affect it through a camera. I can't do that on Zoom. And that's been my problem in trying to get this thing on the lighting going is, we can sit and talk about it,
Why can't you do it on Zoom?
Actually doing it, you're not going to really learn anything.
Why can't you do it on Zoom? I don't understand.
You kind of could, but it would be as if you're watching a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Right.
You
right.
know, so there's no real, I would say, additional benefit than just watching a YouTube.
There's no hands-on learning.
Right, because what we'd like to do, Peter, is to like have everybody in there and have somebody sit and everybody gets a chance to shoot type of thing.
Correct.
Because there's going to be different nuances for everybody's different cameras.
Where you put the trigger on everybody's camera and they get to shoot the lights and do all that.
Right.
Yeah, we did that when Robert did it, and I used to belong to a club called the Semi-Professional Photographers. And this one guy.
Good old Tony.
Yeah, you remember that? And
I was in there, yeah.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was. Since that club was started, I was in there with Tony and Erica and Matt and all those guys.
I mean, and these guys specialized in what? Tattooed weddings?
Yeah.
I thought, wow, they were something else. But remember, they had the studio set up in the garage. I think it was the garage. And they gave everybody a chance to come work the lights, and you hook this little thing up to there. And it was so interesting to know that I just didn't know what I was doing. That professionals would come over there and they would just tilt the model's head this way and bring it down this way and change the lights around, and they just had a real feeling for it. And all I could do is just hook it up and just shoot, so it was great to learn from.
I have 2 photos from, and I don't know if you were there, where we pretty much had several setups throughout their whole house. And this is one where this was, I think, just one light, and then this was also just one light. This was on their bed, but.
Nice. No, I was not there for that one. Which is
yeah, we used to do that a lot, and that was oh yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, they were a great couple.
Well, once we get back into the building, which I'm hoping that since the city is starting to open back up, will be soon, we can maybe set something up to do that for an education night.
Heck yeah, that'd be great.
It would be. Yeah.
Before we go, I'd like to share a short, humorous story with you. I was watching the news last night, and I saw the crowd there, close to the White House, and all of a sudden I see this, what looked like a monster lens, and I thought, holy mackerel. And I didn't see a photographer standing near it. And I thought, why is it in the middle of the crowd? So I got my phone and took some pictures, went and showed them to my wife. I said, Sally, look at this lens. I thought it was a big lens. And this is much larger than the biggest lens that I have. I mean, what in the heck is that? And why is it there? What are they shooting? Well, finally, at one point, a guy reached up and he turned it a little bit this way. And what it was a super monster, like a floodlight thing. I have no idea what he was shining it. He must have been shining it toward the White House. But I thought, wow, what was that doing in the street? And I thought it was a big lens.
Cool.
That's fun.
All
right.
Yes.
Okay, guys, it was fun.
It's pumpkin time.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Stay safe.
Thanks all.
Be careful out there.
We'll see everybody on next 2 weeks, I guess, at competition.
And
all right.
I need to submit something.
Yeah.
Is this the last assignment time?
Yeah, this is the last assignment.
Thank heavens.
And does anybody remember what this one is? I haven't.
Shadows, I think.
Shadows. Okay.
All right. That'll
Very
work.
cool. All right.
All right, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Bye.
All right.
Take
See you
care.
later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care, everybody.